What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Broadway Joel, the voice of Dominican boxing. Today, man, I gotta talk to my guy and one of y'all personal favorite guests of mine, Hector Bermudez, who is the trainer of Rohan Polanco. Rohan Polanco, we know he has a big fight coming up against Quentin Randall. It'll be the second defense of his WBO Intercontinental belt. He's currently ranked number 7 in the WBO. Another defense in such short time, I would assume, will move him up into at least to the top 5, if not further up the rankings. And so this is an important fight for him. And I couldn't fathom going to this fight without having done a whole sit down interview with Hector Bermudez about this fight. Y'all know my man Hector. He expresses himself better in English, so we're gonna do this live in English. Para mi gente que no hablan inglés, Hector Bermudez él está más cómodo hablando inglés, así que este live va a ser en inglés. But man, I'm very excited for what's to come this July 26th. I keep hearing a lot of people going to this fight. A lot of Dominicans. Section 205 sounds lit. A lot of people been DMing me, asking me for the link, making sure my man Rohan gets his credit, making sure Yan Santana gets his credit. They both have individual links, but nonetheless, they both will be fighting on the same card. So, you buy one to support one, you supporting the other because, the Dominican flag is going to be out. And Section 205 is definitely going to be lit. I am super excited to talk to this guy. And he also made some comments that we need to address, me and him. I need to ask him some questions because he made some comments and he may not even know what I'm talking about, but he made some comments that I want to definitely talk to him about. But now, while we wait for him, let's discuss what's going on around boxing. First, let's talk about Pacquiao versus Mario Barrios. I haven't given my opinion on this. I think it's a little crazy that Pacquiao is getting a title shot coming off, was it 4 years inactive? Coming off a loss, he gets ranked in the WBC to fight for the belt, like skip the line. I understand he's a legend, but if you inactive and you lose and you old, you shouldn't be in the rankings. And I'm not happy at all with how the WBC just finagled him a title shot when there's guys that have been moving up the rankings and fighting their way, and he's getting to skip the line. I don't think it's fair for them. And honestly, I don't think it's quite ethical, but that's nothing new. There's nothing new that happens over there. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to see Manny Pacquiao get hurt. Be honest with you, he's a legend in boxing. I watched him. I started watching him late 2000s. I remember him watching him against Ricky Hatton and Margarito and all those guys, and Marquez, all those fights. And he's a legend for sure. 8 division champion and someone who's literally a Hall of Famer, someone who just got inducted, what was it, 2 weeks ago? So it's unfortunate that he's gonna be put in a position where he's gonna get hurt. He could get hurt. Excuse me. I don't want to see him get hurt. Listen, if he turns back the clock and beats Mario Barrios, that would be quite a bit of a statement. I'm not saying Mario Barrios is the best in the world, but he's definitely a feasible opponent at 147. If he's able to beat him, that would be quite impressive. But I don't see it happening, to be honest with you. I just don't think he looked good against the Ugas. Was it 4 or 5 years ago? Imagine how is he going to look now against Barrios. You get what I'm saying? Coming off no fights, I just hope he don't get hurt. Shout out to the gold member. He says he's a new subscriber. Yo, your Avi, your profile picture is hilarious. But shout out to you who's a new subscriber. I hope you enjoyed the content that's here to come. I'm definitely, been getting busy with the content, and since you're a new subscriber, I'm just letting you know the shit gonna keep coming out, man. It's gonna keep coming out. But yeah, I was talking about Pacquiao. Oh, another fight, man, that I'm curious is damn Crawford versus Canelo. I really don't know how to call it. At first I was like, yo, there's no way Canelo's not knocking this guy out just because of the weight difference and stuff like that. But yo, at some point, you gotta acknowledge Canelo has slowed down and he hasn't looked good at cutting off the ring. And Father Time does keep knocking. And yes, I know Crawford is older, but Crawford does have less fights, and has always had the quicker feet. Canelo's always been slow-footed, even in his prime, and now he's getting older. All that wear and tear in his body, he seems to be slowing down even more, having even more trouble cutting off the ring. What's going to happen when there's a small, speedy guy moving around? But I also saw Crawford looking kind of heavy, and not in a good way. I seen him kind of look heavy, trying to beef up for this fight. And I'm not so sure that's the best move. You're going to give up your speed advantage and working with all that weight. And even if you do have the advantage early, you're not used to fighting 12 rounds in that weight. What's going to happen in the 8th and 9th round? And when Canelo's already kind of figured out your rhythm and starts opening up and starts landing hard shots. And he's a big guy. And when you trying to hit him with your shots, you can't keep him off. I've heard him say, oh, I've sparred big guys before, Canelo's just another one, this, that, and the third. I don't see it, man. I don't know. I don't know what to say, to be honest with you. If you're forcing me to pick, I'm picking Canelo by KO, but I'm curious how this fight plays out. I'll be honest with you, I'm not anticipating too exciting of a fight. These are two older fighters, two fighters who have not looked their best in recent fights. So I'm not sure what to expect, to be honest with you, but I definitely want to see what's good. I want to see what's good with these people and see if they could deliver something we not expecting, and especially Bud, because if Canelo wins, people will have been expecting that. If Bud wins, man, he'll become the first 3 division in the 4-belt era, first 3 division undisputed champion. That would be a feat in the 4-belt era. That'd be quite as impressive. It would be very impressive, put it like that you're the man in 3 divisions, and one of them you moved up 3 weight classes to beat the top guy, a guy who is probably not in most people's top 5 pound for pound anymore, but someone who was religiously there recently. It's only until now that he's now fallen off because he's getting a little older, and guys been stepping up. Let's be honest, Nui, Usyk, Beterbiev and Bivol and Bam Rodriguez and Nakatani, and there's a lot of killers out here doing their thing, making it be known why pushing Canelo out the top 5 should be something feasible. But also, Canelo has slowed down his opponents and has slowed down how he's looked in here. It's not like he's blowing away Mungio, blowing away Berlanga, knocking these guys out, and stopping Skull. He couldn't cut off the ring on William Skull. It's like all these fights has shown us that he's not the Canelo Alvarez that we've seen from in the past, and it's a bit I guess it makes for an intriguing fight because you don't know what to expect from either guy, but it also makes me think like maybe this fight could be a stinker too. I don't know. What do you guys think in the chat? Let me know. See the gold member. He says Canelo in 6. Canelo in 6 round. Shit. I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, he is a significantly bigger fighter. He is a puncher. He, he does have experience, and more experience than Bud, to be honest with you, especially against high quality opponents. Like Canelo's been in there with Mayweather, Bivol, Kovalev, Cotto, you know, these are very experienced fighters that he fought in the past. And even like he fought an old Shane Mosley, but still he was in the ring with Shane Mosley. You know, tricky guys like Lara and Trout. He's also been in the ring with guys like that. So he has experience with a lot of styles, and at all different levels too. You know, from the elite level, elite top all time level with in Mayweather, in regular Hall of Fame level in Cotto, and in, you know, very good level like Danny Jacobs, Arislandi Lara, Austin Trout. You know, he's for all types of levels, southpaws, orthodox, something that, you know, we all know Crawford could do. He goes lefty, goes righty. Canelo has all that experience. It's just a matter of, is he young enough? Is his legs fresh enough? Really, that's really what it comes down to. Can he cut off the ring on the smaller guy? And I'm not too sure. I am picking him to win, but I'm not. That's not an emphatic pick that I'm making. I'm not betting my life savings. Just being honest with you, you know what I'm saying. I'm not betting. Period. But especially if I was a betting man, I'm not gonna bet a significant amount on either fighter. It's just too many variables. Crawford is, I believe, he's turning 38 or is 38, so he's older. He's moving up three divisions because he only has one fight at 54. So it's kind of hard to pick him. And then when you look at Canelo hasn't looked good. He's done nothing but slow down. And, you know, we also can't dismiss Bud Crawford's IQ. Maybe what he lacks in size, he can make up in IQ. I don't know, but I definitely tend to lean in favor of Canelo just because of the size difference. I don't think Crawford can hurt or prevent Canelo from coming forward. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he has anything that could just push him back. Hold on. I got my guy right now. My guy, Coach Bermudez. What's up, my man?
What's going on, man? I'm trying to get on this, learn how to do this camera thing.
Yeah.
There we
There
go.
we go. There we go.
What's
Well,
good?
you got a nice little setup now?
I don't know. What do you mean?
You got your own webcam. Excuse me, webcam or something?
No, it's my laptop.
Mm.
I still don't know how to work it too good.
No, you good. I see you clear and you sound fine. You just got to center it a little bit more. That's it. There we go. There we go.
Mug
How
shot.
you doing, my man?
Should look like a mug shot. Now I gotta go from the side.
Oh man. Well. Speaking of that, you know what? I wanted to do an interview about your life in studio. I wanted to do it nice and professional. I'm debating if we should do that.
Man. We too busy, man. You busy? I'm busy.
Nah, the thing is, my studio's in New York, so when you're in New York, you're usually working, you know. So it's not like you out here that where you could just pull and stop over. Give me 2 hours.
I'll definitely be working on in July on Rohan fight. He fighting in New York. You know that, right?
Yeah. I've been promoting. I've been promoting this fight. I've been putting them up there, you know. Yo, but I need to ask you, man. I seen Rohan Polanco with Broadway Joel up in Washington Heights and Dykeman getting a haircut. He just came from DR. Yo, is my man focused, man? You got my man focused?
My man over there.
That's him. All right, I see him. Okay. Dime a ver, mi hermano. That's what's up. Yo, what'd you think? What'd you think of me taking him to the barber, getting a haircut? You know, a famous barber here in New York who cuts the Yankees, cuts the Mets. You know, he's cut Canelo's hair. What do you think of the vlog? Did you watch?
I'm surprised he cut all them people's hair and then fucked my man haircut up, man. Fucked up his hairline up and everything.
Nah, man. I was there for the haircut. The haircut was definitely fresh. You know, there's a reason two professional baseball teams hire him to be the barber.
Really?
So,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
He that was good, man. That was a good. You know, Rohan always had. Can you hear me good, or he?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Rohan is coming into his own, finding himself, and it's good that he get out more. He's meeting people. It's a blessing that he know you and you're able to get him to open up more.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot, it's not just skills that bring people to come see you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Got to be a little more charismatic. You have to let people into your life, get to know you. People have to feel like, they can hang out with you in the living room,
Yeah.
And Rohan is starting to be known, so you have to do that. You have to get out there and shake hands and kiss babies, right?
Yeah, you know what's crazy is he just hit me up. He's like, "Yo, I'm gonna be in New York. Yo, just set something up for me, just for me to go promote the fight, and I'm down to do whatever." He just gave me the homework. He just said, "Yo, just figure it out." So I didn't even know that barber. I knew about him, but I didn't know him. I made a bunch of phone calls, a bunch of DMs, emails, all types of stuff. Got my way to contact him and made that happen within less than a week. So one thing I like about Rohan is he's not afraid to let me take lead, and he's always willing to listen when I give him advice. So that's one good thing about him.
Yeah, I mean that's what he's been doing, taking advice from people. He take advice from his manager. He take advice from me. He's he's a pretty religious guy, so he believes that God won't put somebody in his life that's gonna do him wrong.
Nah, for sure. I mean, that's. I mean, I guess that's one way of looking at it. That God put me in his life to help push him. But let's get back to boxing. Recently, Boots Ennis, a guy who's in your division, announced that he's moving up to 154 pounds, leaving the WBA and the IBF titles vacant. Are you somewhat disappointed that that fight never got to you guys? That would have been a big fight. He's from Philly, which is in the East Coast. You guys train in Massachusetts, big fan base in New York. I saw that as a potential big fight. What are your opinion on Boots moving up, and also are you a little disappointed?
No, I'm not disappointed. It happened because Rohan's a big boy. What I'm disappointed is that he couldn't the politics of boxing it was going to get in the way of him getting a title at 140, and then now he's at 147. Boost moved up. That's fine because I think Rohan should be able to get a title at 147, and then after that he'll move up to 154, and that fight will happen eventually.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed because when Boots moved up, it got announced that both his titles were vacant, the WBA and the IBF. And I was like, I know Rohan's going the WBO route, but I wanted to see how he was ranked in those sanctioning bodies, and he's not ranked at all. I was a bit disappointed because I'm like, I want him with options, as to okay, if the WBO guy don't want to go with us, maybe they could go fuck around, get a vacant of either one of those two belts, and he's not ranked in those sanctioning bodies. Can you talk to me about that?
Well, it's the ones you target. He's with he's with Top Rank, so they got real good relationship with the WBO. A lot of their fighters are either ranked or WBO champions. But he is ranked in other organizations. He's ranked in the WBC. We had to sign some paperwork for testing and all that. So once he did that, he was able to go into the top 15. I think what is he, 12 or something, or
yeah, I'm pulling it up right now. He is ranked, if I'm not mistaken, he was ranked 14 or something like that.
Yeah, so he entered the top 15. Now he could fight the champion once you enter the top 15.
Oh, he's ranked 11 actually. He's ranked 11.
Yeah.
No. The reason I brought up the other two sanctioning bodies because those are the ones that are vacant. So he could have fought for them, and and became a champion that way. That's why I brought him up. But yeah, he's ranked number 11 in the WBC. Also, speaking of rankings, on BoxRec, he's actually ranked now number 5 welterweight, which really he's top 4 because Boots is ranked number 1, so he'll be leaving. So on BoxRec, he's ranked as the number 4 welterweight. I know BoxRec rankings is not always the best, but what's your opinion on that?
Well, I think even so, you say Boots left, so now it'll go up even more. But now remember, Norman is fighting Susaki.
Yeah.
And whatever, right? Susaki or Sasuke. So one of them gonna drop off under 5. So as of this coming week, he should be number 3, right?
Number 3, and then depending on his performance with Quentin Randall, he could move up from number 3 to number 2, possibly number 1. We'll see how he performs. And
who would be who's number who's number 1 is what? Haney's there, right? Haney's up there.
I'll tell you right now, it is Haney. It got Ennis number 1, which he's leaving. Haney 2, Sasaki 3, Norman 4, and Rohan 5.
Yeah.
I don't know how Haney's number 2, but again, BoxRec uses like a computerized system. It's not necessarily something so foolproof. But yeah, that's how they go. But one thing that's preventing him from moving up as high up as fast as we would like it's tough for him to get tough fights. It's been reported that 3 fighters have turned down the fight. Blair Cobb's turned down the fight. Karen Shukazian turned down the fight. Nicolas Flas turned down the fight. How frustrating is it as a trainer where, these are some tough guys I just mentioned who could possibly move your guy up even further, but they're turning down the fight?
I'm pretty even kill. I don't get up, I don't get too high or too low. Which, I mean, I could sit here and defend him more. But I've been in the business for so long that I understand that someone with Polanco's talent, they don't get title fight. They don't get the pick 'em. He got to get to the number 1 spot, to the mandatory spot. Someone of his talent. There's a lot of guys. And even Paulie Malignani's told me this one time. He's like, the reason he was a 2-time world champion is because he's vulnerable. And then they want to pick. I mean, I had world champions before, so when my guys become world champions, I'm picking. I'm going through the 1 to 15 to see which one is the easiest fight, so we could get a quick title defense. And then they get ready for the number 1 guy, the mandatory. But you always get a chance between the mandatory, choose whoever you want to fight, and that's what Paulie came in. Paulie, they thought they could beat Paulie, and Paulie became world champion. And then the second time they thought they was going to beat him again, and he was able to win.
Okay.
There's a lot of stories like that in boxing.
Yeah, no, and Paulie even went to Ukraine for his second title shot, where he was the underdog and just ripped up the guy's face. So the guy really kind of quit, that's an interesting way of putting it, where people know you like Rohan not only gonna get a title shot if he's forced into it.
The bad part is that he's at his prime. He should be champ. If he wasn't Dominican, he was like an Olympian from America. He'll be world champion right now. But the Dominican boxing is it's starting to get momentum right now. But they're not putting a lot of people in seats. So he's 26 years old, where he should have been a champion probably at 24. And now I don't see it happening this year. Hopefully next year something to come about it.
Yeah, I mean, if Norman wins his fight and Rohan wins his fight, There's no other obvious opponent for Norman. I unless maybe a unification with Barrios or unification with whoever wins those vacant belts. I guess maybe those fights could get in the way. But other than that, like and they both on the same side of the street. I could see that fight happening next after both their fights.
Este quiere cámara. Yo estoy en el live y este más que quiere cámara nada más.
Oye lo que hay, oye.
Dime a ver.
Este piensa que es comentarista y no quiere trabajar ahora.
Oye,
lo está dañando.
Le estoy dando mucha luz.
Y oye lo que hay, un mensaje. Los tigres que no quieran coger pelea, que andan buscando de que el lado más fácil, a esa gente no se va a mencionar. Oíste, a esa gente no se le da payola. De que gente que tú lo veas que en una entrevista abriendo la boca y vaina, y cuando se le dice vamos a pelear, lo que viene con una cotorra, no hay payola para esa gente. Que se le está dando fama de gratis. Si quieren coger fama, que se suban al ring con el rayo. ¿Me entiendes? Si no hay fama para ustedes. Así que no mencionen nombres raros. Oíste.
Este es el live mío y él quiere...
él quiere cogerte la entrevista. Yo, by the way, I don't know if you thought you was gonna slip this one by me, but when I was on the Boxing Voice, you sent the super chat saying Puerto Rico currently is better than DR in boxing, and I need you to explain yourself, my man. I'm the voice of Dominican boxing. I know you Puerto Rican, and you know you my man, but you got some explaining to do. What's up with you, man?
Well, so you go by the ring. You slick. You want to go by the specific rating? No, go to BoxRec. BoxRec got more of a range of 1 to 100 or whatever. They don't have it like the ring got 1 to 10 or whatever. But yeah, if you're talking about the Udi Cedeños and you're talking about Rohan Polanco and you're talking about Puello, right? It was that 3, and then you're talking about Jan Santana. Yeah, I got some. Hey, call Jan Santana up here. I got something to tell him. Send him a text or something. See if you can get him on. So,
hold on.
Let me see. The mini Pac-Man. Mini Pac-Man.
Yeah, we got Caballo. We got we got Alfredo Santiago, Elvis Rodriguez. We got some killers.
No. You got to pick one for a weight class. You can't just be jumping. You don't have to. You can't.
All right. So we could go. You know what? This is what we're gonna do. Since you said, nobody's at heavyweight, cruiserweight, light heavyweight, super.
What do you mean? There's a Puerto Rican at heavyweight.
Who?
LeBron.
Yeah.
So what? He's fucking probably way down in the weight.
Carlos Negron?
Negron, yeah, Carlos Negron.
Stop, bro. Stop. Don't do that.
But what Dominican you have that's better than him? Nobody.
All right. So we're gonna go down division by division. All right.
Okay, so we got the heavyweight. That's one for us.
All right. Let's go cruiserweight. I'll be honest, I never heard of
this
guy.
Hold on. Can you share a screen on here so people
I
can
got you. Hold on 1 second. I got you right now. Give me 1 second. Boom. Right here. All right. So heavyweight right here. Y'all got this guy Jesus Escalera who's ranked over Carlos Negron. Okay, either way, I don't know any Dominican in the.
Okay, so what in the world? What is he?
Hold on. We got this guy. He's 10-0, 15-0. Well, hold on. We got some guys here, bro.
No. But where is he in the world?
He is ranked. Damn, this dude is 45 years old. He's ranked 106.
We gotta take him. So he's ranked what?
106 in the world. But this Dominican guy's ranked 251. So I got heavyweight.
So we got that. We got one.
Y'all got heavyweight. Y'all got one. All right. You know what?
Digo que los boricuas son mejores.
Ese tigre está loco, Rohan.
Pero el otro sucking his teeth como este cubano.
No, pero el que Cuba, es que él sabe, él está en el medio, él no tiene, he don't got a dog in the fight. He's just speaking the truth.
Aquí hay un cubano, un dominicano.
Okay.
No. Estamos en heavyweight. Empezamos en heavyweight. Y estamos ganando.
Now we at cruiserweight. The highest ranked Puerto Rican is 185. Highest ranked Dominican is 37. So we got cruiserweight. So it's 1-1.
Look again. Make sure you.
I got the screen sharing.
So you say what is the highest Puerto Rican what?
The highest ranked Puerto Rican cruiserweight is 185. The highest ranked cruiserweight in Dominican Republic, I believe he's 37, ranked 37. So it's 1-1.
God damn it.
All right. So now let's go to light heavyweight. Hold on a
second. I gotta stay with you.
Yo, but I'm screen sharing. You act like I'm lying.
I don't believe it. You too pro Dominican.
No, I'm pulling up. So light heavyweight, we got Sanderson Diaz, who's ranked 66 in the world.
Oh, we got my man from
Najee
Lopez. So we got that. Don't worry about
Najee
that.
Lopez. Hold on. We're not going by what Hector Bermudez. He's ranked number 14. Y'all got that. So it's 2-1.
2-1. Hold on. Let me write this down.
Middle.
Let me write this down because your math is low. Give me a pen or something.
Super middle. Y'all got Berlanga, so I'm assuming y'all got it.
So we got heavyweight.
Y'all got heavyweight and light heavyweight. We got cruiserweight.
Oh baby, I got a good feeling about this. And we got super middleweight, big
got super middleweight. We're not even gonna check middleweight. We're not even checking that one because that one's for us.
Who's the middleweight?
We got Adames.
And we don't got nobody there.
Your highest ranked is Jonathan Gonzalez, the guy who fought. We
don't need you to be laughing, yo.
Yeah.
We don't need you to be disrespectful, man.
Hey, listen, I'm just reading what it says, brother. I'm just reading what it says.
Oh, that's 3-1.
All right. Yeah. No, it's 3. We got it 3-2 because we got middleweight.
We got middleweight. All right, 3-2.
So I'm pretty sure y'all gonna have super welterweight because y'all got Xander Zayas. So Juan Solano, who's actually a good fighter. He's ranked 87. Yeah. So y'all got that one too. We're not even gonna check that one.
Okay, so we got 4-2. Oh, y'all looking bad.
All right, welterweight. We got that one. We got that one. So what we? You know what? Let me check.
Yeah, we good with that.
We good. All right. So welterweight, we good. Let's go to 140, which we should have Puerto over
Matias?
Yeah, he got a better resume.
Yeah, it should be, but let's check it. We don't know.
Let's check it. Matias is ranked number 2 over in the world. Stop. Stop. They got Puerto at 11. That's some bullshit. I don't give a fuck what nobody tell me. That's some bullshit. We ain't going by that one.
Yo, we got what was that? We got
according to box, I got 140.
Oh, y'all looking bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5-2.
No, wait. 5-2? No, we're 5-3. We got cruiserweight, middleweight, and welterweight.
You gotta keep track yourself.
Come on, man. Don't. You see, yo, esto boricua con su tigueraje de una vez. Con su tigueraje. Lightweight, let's see who y'all got. Well, to be fair for us on lightweight, currently Edwin De Los Santos is not rated because he's been active because the dude missed weight, but he would have been rated over your guy.
And he's not here getting smacked up by my guys here.
Yeah, so we're gonna give that one to us just on the technicality.
No. We going by box rec.
No. We're gonna give that one to us on the technicality.
We can't go by Hector Bermudez rules. So we can't go by Broadway Joel rules either. What does
well, if we go, all right, listen, you know what? We're gonna go by your rules. Then you guys got
that ain't my rules. It's BoxRec rules. That ain't my rules.
All right, y'all got 135. Let's go 130.
Y'all looking bad, yo. Hey, the chat. Hold on a second. Pause for a second. I need the chat to send in a super chat or something and ask some questions, yo. He need help right now. Where the Dominicans at? Pause a second. Don't look at nothing up right now.
Nobody sent no super chats.
My man Adi Boxing talking about Broadway need help. Hell yeah. Adi talking about so he must be Dominican. We have Ali Felice.
There you go, young
man. He's not right. We're not going by Adi Boxing Talk rules. We're going by BoxRec. So matter of fact, you guys got heavyweight anyway, right? Or no?
No, cruiserweight.
The heavyweight guy was that dude. Ali's my guy. His father loved him. He's my guy. So I wish him the best. But he ain't ready to fight that Puerto Rican, whoever that was at 108.
Stop.
At 108 ranking. Where's Ali Felice?
No, listen. Y'all got 130.
Who's 130? Wait. We ain't nothing 130.
130, y'all got Henry LeBron.
LeBron. Southpaw, right?
Yeah. Which Leonel de los Santos would knock him out. I'm being honest with you. You matter of fact, you've seen Leonel, right?
Leonel haven't fought in 10 years.
And he still would knock him out.
Leonel got like 5 fights, and I worked like 2 of them of his. He got 5 fights. He's not. You can't compare him to LeBron.
Listen, man. I know what I said. By the way, we got featherweight. You keep track over there.
Who's Adi? Is Adi the
guy that with the glasses? All right. He just sent a super chat. Let me in. $5 super chat. Yo, hold on, Ari. Let us cook for a little bit, man. Let us cook.
Yeah. Go put the hood on, yo. Go watch that.
Yeah. So at 126, y'all got John Paul Rivera Pizarro, who's ranked number 6.
Nice. He's a beast.
And that beast ain't fucking with our beast. And Jan Santana, who's ranked number 25.
Oh, hold on.
What's the score? Run me the score right now.
Wait. Where I lost. Who's that 130? We got Henry. Right? So we got that. Y'all looking bad. Hold on.
Y'all got it. I said y'all got it.
Y'all looking bad because first of all, you've been talking for a long time. I've been letting you talking about Dominican boxing is ahead of Cuban boxing, is ahead of is going into the new millennium as the best in the Caribbeans. What else you was saying?
All I was saying is we got more world champions. It's a fact, bro.
But okay, we're talking about weight classes. You have 1 weight class, 2 weight class, 3 weight. You looking bad right now.
Well, what's the score? I'm asking you what's the score.
Where we at? No, we ain't finished yet. We're at 126. We're at 126.
We got it. Y'all got John Paul Rivera. We got Jan Santana.
But Paul Rivera, what number is he?
I'm telling you, I just checked it, bro.
Check it again because I wasn't looking. And my
68.
My Boricua brother here, whoever that is, Bodie's in the building. You know, he got my
He's
back.
ranked number 68, and Santana's ranked number 25.
All right, so you got that. Well, you got 126. And I got somebody from motherfucking John Santana, too.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't. I seen that dude spar. He ain't that. He ain't all that.
Who? You see who?
I know. I'm just talking shit just to get you tight.
Oh, I'm about to say this. My man, hey, look up my man. My man ranked number 12 in the world. Where Jan Santana ranked at? I need you.
Your man not Puerto Rico. He not registered in Puerto Rico. So now we have 122.
Yeah, we got to fix that. My man's Boricua. He does got an American thing on this thing. We got to fix that.
Hey, man, listen, we going by BoxRec rules. That's what you told me. We going by box. If he's not on the Puerto Rico, then that's on him.
Yo, Adi Boxing Talk. Clean your glasses, man. Come on in a second.
So hold on. We got so 122. We got that too at 122. We got our highest ranked is 42. Yours is 123. So that's another division we got.
Oh no, you're catching
What's
up.
the score? Hold on. What's the score?
So heavyweight, light heavyweight, super middle, super welter. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Welter.
7 for Puerto Rico. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for DR.
Okay. All
and
right.
We had 118 now, right?
Yeah. Now we got to check 118. Damn. Yo, these ads on fucking Box Record blowing mine, man. They really messing up the flow of this.
Yeah, you can pay $3 a month.
Really? You could pay for not to get ads? I didn't even know that. Oh nah, so I gotta do that ASAP because this shit.
I feel I'm amongst brokenness. Who said that?
Nah, who said that?
Who said that? He's a
somebody put that in the chat.
No.
I think that was a Dave Chappelle thing, right?
No. He was a skit that he was watching YouTube, and then the commercial came on. He was like, "Ho, y'all got commercial?" I feel like I'm amongst. That's homeboy, the Dominican dude, the funny dude that was with Rohan at the parade.
Oh, yeah. The dude that be with his mom, Radel Ortiz.
Yeah.
All right, 118, y'all got it.
So y'all got 122? Oh,
we got 122.
So 118, who we got? We got
Puerto Rico. Y'all got Javier Cintrón.
Javier Cintrón. All right, what's his record?
It is 13-1, and we got Victor Santillán, who's 14-2. So now we at 115.
Yo, Adi Boxing talking about 119. We have Santelli. Who's 119? You talking about amateurs? We talking about professional boxing here. 119 is not even a weight class, man. What's wrong with this guy, yo? He said at 119 we have Santelli. He's making up weight class. You guys have to wake up. You guys making up weight classes here.
Hey, man. All right, who's this?
Y'all looking bad, man. The weight class is running out. What we got at 115?
115, y'all got it.
Y'all looking bad. Y'all looking bad.
Now we're going to 112, right?
Yeah, I need to know these names because I need to know. That's a Boricua right there. 14.
No, this guy is Olajuwon Acosta from Mayagüez, Puerto Rico.
Yeah, we gotta give credit to these brothers, huh? These dudes is out there. Little guys gotta get love too.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Where we at now?
We gotta go to flyweight now. We gotta go to flyweight.
Oh man,
y'all got Jonathan Gonzalez is your highest rated. He's ranked number 14.
Man, he looked like a warrior, boy. 30.
Yo, how old is that dude? Hold on, let's go back.
34.
He's 34. I feel like I've been watching him for a minute. We got Jeffrey Huang, who's ranked number 47. He's ranked number 14. So y'all got it there.
What are you talking about, Luis Nunez? What weight class Nunez is at?
He had 126.
Oh, so he will cook Jan Santana?
Yeah, why you bringing up personal shit right now?
I don't know. Adi Boxing is tripping over here.
Yo, but hold on. Yo, Adi need to chill, bro. We go. Let us go through the exercise. We'll talk afterwards. We got Mini Pac-Man here.
Oh, we at 112?
No, we at 108.
What happened to 112? We got that. Who got
112, y'all got it, I said.
Oh, y'all looking bad. Hey, y'all looking bad.
And then 108. No way. They got Rene Santiago over Mini Pac-Man. Not even you believe that.
Yo, Mini Pac-Man need to work on his defense. Every fight he's getting hit a little bit too much. Just like in the words of my man Guzman, esos puños no son vitamina.
minimum weight, y'all got it. Y'all got Oscar Collazo, who I think is the best Puerto Rican currently, period. And we don't even have anybody in that division.
And that's it. We got one more, 100.
No, that's it. Oscar Collazo.
That's 105, right?
Yeah, 105.
And how about the next weight class down?
No, that's the last one.
Yo, so mira, ustedes están mal. Ustedes tienen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 gente que están enfrente de Puerto Rico.
And how many Puerto Rico got?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
Nah, it ain't even that many divisions. Oye, Borré,
No importa quién son, están encima.
Oye, Rohan, ellos tienen a Subriel número 2 y a Apoyo número 11 en la división. Tú puedes, Borré tiene Apoyo número 11 y Subriel Matías número 2. Y él dice que porque Borré tiene a Subriel ahí, él es mejor que Puello. ¿Tú escuchas eso? La ciencia.
Tú salvaste, tú cogiste uno para el lado.
¿Sabes qué es lo que me quilla, Broadway? Que este está vivo y alguien por lo menos lo conoce. Es por los dominicanos que lo conocen.
Exacto.
Y está de lambón. Diablo, papi, que lambón. Te ves tú de los boricuas.
Los dominicanos te tienen prendido y tú aquí defendiendo los boricuas.
Todavía. ¿Cuánto has hecho? Todo lo que tú has hecho duro son dominicanos. Así que deja de ser tan lambón, papi.
De verdad, sí. Yo necesito, si los boricuas están, si alguien allá con talento no tiene que saber pelear, llámame, porque
oye,
necesito un boricua.
Ya los boricuas son míos porque en verdad ellos me admiran.
Mira.
Oye, en verdad ellos me admiran los boricuas. Por eso fue que ellos tuvieron que llevarme para la parada puertorriqueña porque ellos no tienen un boxeador con el talento como el mío. Por eso tuvieron que llevarme para allá.
Para que vean una estrella.
Sí, para que tengan una gente con flow. Oye, el tigre maduro que ellos tienen allá es Jan Santana y es dominicano. Oíste. Y el que ellos tienen de que más o menos es una perita. Que todo lo que tira lo cogen. ¿Me entiendes? A ese nadie lo sigue. Oye, yo nunca he escuchado un boxeador de lo que están subiendo de que yo quiero ser como fulano. Nadie quiere ser como ese tipo. ¿Oíste?
¿Por qué tú no mencionas? No.
Porque no le voy a dar para yo a la gente que no quieren pelear conmigo.
El boxeador más que tiene a, ¿cómo dice? Talento. No, talento no, que la gente le gusta a verlo. Matías,
sí, él tiene un estilo que la gente le gusta ver.
Él está en mi live, pero...
¿Quién es?
Matías, voy a Matías, que Matías va a matar a Puello.
Ay. Ni tú lo crees.
No, él sabe que eso es fácil, eso es easy wall.
Yo no sé si puedo share my screen.
Easy wall.
I don't know how to do it. I don't know.
In the bottom, does it say present?
¿Cuánto vamos a votar?
Yeah, hit that and you can share your screen. Pues sí, ¿qué iba a decir Rohan?
Oíste, yo le voy a ganar un par de pesos a este, oíste, tú vas a ver.
Sí.
¿Cuánto vamos a votar? Que pues yo gano.
Tú me debes ya, de la puerta que hicimos.
No, lo va a decir ahí.
No, pues tú me debes.
¿Tú te atreves a decirlo ahí?
Tú me debes. Vamos a apostar lo que tú me debes. Yo siempre le gano todas las puertas. Este coge un bolsa. Puello tiene mala suerte ya que este lo cogió. Este no coge a uno que gana.
No, él nada más coge perdedor. Hold on, I got your boy Ari here que quiere hablar contigo. Que Ari te quiere mandar un mensaje. Dime a ver, Ari.
Dime a ver, Hector.
Oh, he's still my man, cleaned up.
What's good? Nada limpiecito, tú ves.
Okay.
No glasses, no hoodie today.
All right. What's going on?
Pero espérate. I wanna listen. Fuck box rec. Fuck the bullshit. Weight classes. And heavyweight, I put it Feliz against whoever you got.
Ali Feliz.
My man, we just went through this. You're late.
I know, but the thing is that you guys were talking about box rec. I'm talking about.
Listen, I'm with you. I was just trying to entertain him, And once I
No,
saw
que tú sabes que eso de box rec, that's not legit. That's not, you know what I'm saying? Like what I'm saying is, for example,
and Box Rec is an American company, and Puerto Rico is part of America. So, Hector, we know the conspiracy.
no, pero mira, this is the way that I would do it. Yes, I'm biased, I'm Dominican, pero está heavy. Look, yo pongo a Feliz and Heavyweight against whoever you got. Después, if you want, and this is what we're gonna do. Hold on.
I can't really. I'm in boxing heavy. This is what I do from the time I wake up to I go. So I have friendship. I can't sit here and battle with you against Feliz. Don't make me do that. Those are my peoples.
Está bien. Well, let's move. Okay, so
first of all, his father gets a lot of credit for these because it's not just Feliz. There's another brother that's Fernelli Jr., which is an awesome boxer. So if anything, you talking about Feliz, you should put his brother before him because his brother's a better boxer at this point.
So what you're saying is we got two heavyweights that are better than your heavyweights, is what you're saying.
I'll give you heavyweight. You're still doing bad.
Hey, well, if you're gonna give us heavyweight, you better damn sure give us 140.
No, pero let's okay. Listen,
and still, and 115. Centron ain't better than our guy. Get out of here, bro.
No, pero look, okay, so let's say heavyweight, cruiserweight, whatever you guys want to do. Pero
first of all, you driving. Be careful.
No, I'm not driving. I'm parked. I'm good. I'm not driving. I'm not driving this time. So then we could go down. Listen, we could go down to super middleweight. I put Carlos Adames versus Berlanga. Cuando tú quieras. If you want to put them in the ring, I'll put them together. And then for the next division, Xander Zayas, lo pongo con Eury Cedeño. We could put him at 154, 160, whatever weight class you want. 147, we got Rohan. 140. Where you le va a dar una salsa, Matías? Una salsa.
Your own ranking. Why don't you make up your own ranking? Call it Box Adi.
No, because we're talking about, Dominican versus Puerto Rico. Eso es lo que estamos hablando. ¿Quién tiene mejores peleadores? Who got better fighters? That we talking about, right?
We got more weight class. We just went through this. Where were you?
Fuck the way I was listening, but the box rec is not accurate.
You can't say fuck right. You can't. We have to go to a neutral source, and that's
but box rec.
We already went over that. That's an American company.
Hold on, box rec is not a neutral source. If you want to go through a neutral source, hold on. If you want to go through a neutral source, let's go through. You got to take the 4 sanctioning bodies and see who's ranked in the top 15.
I'm gonna show you somebody who smacked the shit out of Jan Santana. Come here.
No, pero espérate. Espérate. We haven't gotten there yet.
Adi, let's move on from the conversation, man.
Let me tell you something about this kid right here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in boxing, every great entity in boxing have to have something of their own. You see, Muhammad Ali came into the scene. They were like, "Oh, you can't fight with your hands down. You can't do this." Right? Roy Jones got his own style. Everybody. Fucking Rohan Polanco got a punch already named after him. Right? Everybody know what the Polanco is.
El cocotazo.
All right. This kid here. Right? I could let him talk, but let me say something. Matter of fact, hold on a second. There's so much talent here. Hold on a second.
Pero paso a paso, papi.
Pero uno la ve.
Hey, my man, come here for a second. I just get emotional, right? I just with as much talent that is in it. Let my man come in for a second. You know who this kid is?
I'm not familiar with who's that, man.
Okay.
¿Cómo se llama?
Is his father. This is Armando Martinez. He's I think number 4 in the world right now. His father was a gold medalist in the Olympics.
From
Cuba. What weight class?
At 135. You got somebody for 135?
Edwin.
De Los Santos would knock his fucking head off.
Edwin.
De Los Santos.
Oye. Con calma, con calma. No,
Hold
no
on, and look, and your other guy that you have, what weight class is
no
he in?
diga
The
algo en
other
cámara
guy.
que te vas a cortar. No diga algo en
¿Por
cámara.
qué tú dices que a los me han sacado? ¿Por qué tú dices?
No, mira, nosotros no estamos diciendo que we don't know you. We don't know you yet. We don't know you yet.
Háblame español.
Habla español.
No, que no nosotros todavía no te conocemos y no estoy diciendo que Edwin te va a noquear. Él preguntó a quién tenemos la 135 para ti y yo digo, le tenemos a Edwin de los Santos.
Ya. Pero no que me han
Entonces, Hector dice que tiene otro ahí también, que estaba atrás. ¿Dónde está ese? ¿Qué peso? ¿Qué peso está ese?
Ese es especial. Ese tú lo conoces ya mismo.
¿Pero qué peso?
Ari.
Este coja de los Santos y los... Mira, de los Santos... Espera un momento. Espera. Can I share my screen?
I told you how to do it. Press present. Press present and then share what you want to share.
What's going on here?
It'll show you the tabs you got open and which one you want to share. Ari, let me vibe out with Hector.
No, but I haven't done it. Keep already there, ugly ass. Keep him there.
Aren't you about to introduce me to some fighters?
Yeah, but it's okay. He could be there. Open.
No, está bien. Yo lo dejo.
Tato Ari.
Okay, hablamos. Another time, que Hector te ahí invite me back in.
I got you. All right.
I bet.
Yeah, I don't know. Something is saying is locked here. Grant access to this application.
Oh, Jose, Hector, I actually have somebody here who I've been wanting to hook you guys up at the same time. It just hasn't happened, but finally I have him on. I got my man Jose Corpus, man. Jose, how you doing, my man?
I can't see the screen. I would love to meet him. That's my favorite historian, but I can't see him.
All right.
I got all this.
You can't see him? Well, are you trying to screen share thing right now, right?
Okay, I'm back here. I would love to screen share something. Hey, Jose, how you doing?
All right.
What do you want me to screen? I could do it for you.
No, because I wanted to play this video and I wanted to film study something with you so I could show you the flaws of De Los Santos and how we could expose it and maybe to help him.
Yeah,
but
I mean, you got the right toy to play with. You got the right soldier to send. Do you have? Yeah, you can know what to do, but if you don't got the
hey, Jose, do you know who Armando Martinez from Cuba, the gold medalist?
Yeah.
This is this kid's father.
Yeah, lightweight.
He's a beast, yo. You the best.
Nah, he a beast.
Yeah, so this is this kid's son. I have his son.
Oh, he's out here? He's up in Massachusetts?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So he ¿cuánto tú tienes? 15 o 14? 15-0. 15-0 right now.
All right.
How old is he?
He's 29.
Okay.
Okay.
You trained him?
I think he's number number 5 in the world.
Oh, he's knocking on the door.
Yeah. I see the book.
Yeah. So everybody, I got my man Jose Corpus who just dropped this book right here, The 4 Belt Era. So a lot of people, want to compare fighters from the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s to the fighters now and say, man, but this guy's a 4-division world champion. This guy beat 8 champions in this.
Mine arrive on Friday.
Oh, my man. All right. Perfect.
So this book right here is like, what if the 4-belt era existed the whole time? So, you got guys making 100 title defenses, guys who have, 8, 9 division world champions and stuff like that. And it brings into context a lot of the bullshit we go through now. And it also gives you a lot of historical tidbits that, you didn't know. One of them that I kind of wanted you to elaborate on, Jose, because I know you were going to come on. I'm glad you actually are on. Was one, man, Firpo, the heavyweight, man. This guy was an elite businessman. I did not know he was that good of a businessman. And talk to me about him getting paid with beans and selling it and making the money that way, and asking to be paid in investment books and owning the rights to his fights internationally. Talk to me about his business acumen that a lot of people are not familiar with.
Well, first, I didn't appreciate the way you guys were attacking Hector there when he was by himself. Number one. So Boxrec is British. Boxrec is British, right? That's John Shepard. He's out in the UK. Number one. Number two, Puerto Rico's the Yankees. Dominican Republic is the Mets. I'm sorry, that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is in history.
Oh my God! I'm talking about currently, man. Boxrec.
Who's your Lou Gehrig? Who's your Lou Gehrig? Who's your Babe Ruth?
Oh Lord, we got
Come on, man.
We got
anyway.
Listen, historically, I'm not arguing. But I don't think they got.
I mean, currently, we just went down to the rankings. I mean, we went down to
and
honestly, I was surprised Puerto Rico came out on top because I don't, you don't. Yeah, I thought the DR was going to take it when you first started talking about that.
Now that we're done with it, now it's like, oh, there's bias with what is Boxrec.
No. You got to do, yeah. You know that expression when the ship goes down, just grab on, hold on to whatever you can. So that's what's going on.
Hey, listen, I don't agree with the rankings, but we'll go by it. It's fine. But I can guarantee you, July 12th, the number 11th guy, according to Boxrec, is fighting the number.
I know. They're gonna flip. Yeah.
So when the results happen, just know he's beating the number 2 guy. Just remember what Boxrec said. Yeah. I want him to get credit like he beat the number 2 guy.
All joking aside, though, I'm happy for DR. I like the movement that's going on. Mm-hmm. I hope they all win belts. Puerto Rico's going through a lot of problems, man. That island is being gentrified right now, so they're losing gyms. They ain't nothing but Airbnbs if you go down there. And hotels, so that there's something going on over there. So back to Louis Firpo though. Louis Firpo, 1920s heavyweight from Argentina. Mm-hmm. Basically self-trained and self-managed. Very first professional in Argentina. So in order for him to get training, he had to go to Chile, right? And you guys know how he got to Chile?
No, I don't know that story.
He walked.
Wow.
Right? He walked across the Andes. Now, back in those days, it was a trade route. So most people were walking across the continent. Most of them were doing it on horseback, though, but he just walked. And when he got to Chile, he was like 25 pounds lighter and like 5 shades darker. This is a guy that's sleeping against trees, walking over to Chile. That's how badly he wanted to fight. So when he used to go to Chile and Uruguay to fight, instead of getting paid in their money, they had food over there that in Argentina was more expensive, right? Because it had to be like transported. So he used to come home with sacks of beans, right? So they will pay him, let's say $100 worth of beans, and he would take that back to Argentina and flip it and sell it for $300 or $400. That's how he was getting paid. Another way he wanted to get paid was with books. So he wanted books on investment, books on filmmaking, books on property rights. And once he read all those books, he would sell them to the libraries and the bookstores. But with that knowledge, back then, there weren't too many movies out in the 1920s, right? Hollywood, I don't even know exactly when Hollywood started, but it was just at the end of the silent era. So one of the most popular films there was the Dempsey Jess Willard fight, right? They kept playing that in Argentina. And Firpo noticed every time I come to see this fight, this movie theater is packed. So he found out how to secure his own film rights for his own fights. He got a camera. He learned how to edit. He had his corner man. Hector, imagine working the corner with a camera on your shoulder, filming the fight, right? That's what his corner man was doing. And then those fights, when he came back to Argentina, he packaged them. He made a film. He edited it. And they started playing those fights in Argentina. So he kept all his rights, even right up until the time when he went to the United States. And the fight with Jack Dempsey, when he knocked Jack Dempsey out the ring, every time that played south of Mexico, Firpo was held the film rights for all those fights. Every movie theater, every sale, every time they replayed it. So this guy was like the George Foreman of his day in a lot of ways when it came to business.
Yeah, this guy, like in his time, he was close to a billionaire, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what the math is, though. I mean, he lost some money in the stock market, but you know, he owned car dealerships. I forgot the Stutz, I think is the car brand. They don't sell them anymore. But anything in South America, he owned every dealership of the Stutz dealerships in South America. Right? He was one of the first Latin filmmakers, film producers anyway.
Yeah, this guy owned a bunch of real estate, owned all the rights to his fights, owned a bunch of car dealerships in South America.
Yeah,
this guy is it's almost like a hidden gem of who he was. We like to talk about the business acumen of Mayweather and Foreman. Yeah. This guy from the 1920s, who, you know, most people never heard of. Well, I should not say that. You know, who a lot of people are not too familiar with, was doing that back in the 20s.
Yeah.
And that's amazing. And if you think fighters are getting jerked now, imagine back then. And he was somebody who was out here getting it. That's one of the parts of the book, which again, the 4-belt era, if you haven't bought it, make sure to go cop it. It's definitely worth reading. There's a lot of little tidbits like that are in here. I don't know how long you've been watching, but what's your thoughts on Rohan, Hector Bermudez fighter? He fights July 26th. He's had a fast rise since he got introduced to us by Top Rank. His stock has been growing. What's your opinion on him?
I mean, listen, man. How many fights he got? Like 14 now, 15?
I think 16 and 0 with 10 knockouts.
Listen, you know, one of the hardest things to do is to go 15, 16 fights and not even lose a single round, right? So the dude is just like head and shoulders over everyone he's been in the ring with yet. Mm-hmm. I feel like he don't even need to be protected, right? He could probably go up against anyone in the division now, just about.
I agree with that. Hector, you got any questions for Jose?
Well, there was at one point in time where you know, every fighter needs molding, right? And I was molding him, and there was some fights where I was like, nah, that's not a good one. And then I told the manager to trust me. There's going to be a time where I'm not going to say no to anybody that you bring across the table. And I haven't, and it's the time, you know, since last year I've been pushing him to fight better fights. I've been even saying no. I've been denying people because they were too easy. I wanted to deny Madonna. I wanted to deny Madonna. I wanted to deny Hunter. I wanted like name. I needed a name. I need this kid to get out there and Tariq Gianni. I didn't. I wanted him because he was undefeated. But yeah, so now it's just like even this guy, Quentin Randall, is a difficult fighter to face. He's very, very awkward and very negative. He doesn't want to engage, and he's long, and you have to go get him. He got some pop, so you got to be careful. And then Rohan's at a position where if the kid was a world champion, then I know he would want to win also. So then we can just lay back, and if you want to run and move, then we'll win. And it's your title that you're going to lose. But this kid, Dominican, right, Rohan, he needs to be impressive every time out, you know. So he had to be impressive July 26th, and he had to go get this dude. And Brian Norman had a decision against him, and so you know Rohan trying to knock him out.
Yeah.
Jose, does Rohan remind you of anybody? He come forward with that shoulder roll. He has any similarities to fighters you've seen in the past? I know you have an extensive knowledge of boxing.
Let's see, man. A tall guy who comes forward like that.
Little James Toney, no?
Nah, man. I was thinking more Tommy Hearns, but Tommy was more sideways, right? Rohan is more straight, a little more squared up. But
what about a guy like Jersey Joe Walcott?
I was gonna say something like Marlon Starling, but with a knockout punch. Something like coming right at you, nice tight guard. He's kind of unique though, man. He got a little Trinidad in him. You agree with that, Bermudez?
Actually, we studied Trinidad, and the way there's a specific way that Trinidad used to challenge other people's their backhand, their right hand, and used to go into it instead of rolling back. He used to slip right into it.
Yeah. I see that.
and gain position on them. And Rohan, like if we know you have a good right hand, we're not like just staying away from it so you can surprise us with it. We want you to throw it. All right. So yeah, Rohan's special, man. He's getting there. Man.
Yeah, man.
I love the fact, man. I love that you're on. I love that I get a chance to talk to you. I think it's remarkable that you documenting the sport that I love, right?
Thank you.
And especially you Boricua, right?
Half.
Well, you're Boricua, so that's because if it's boxer, we would have. You would have been.
The half is the other half is the only reason why he's here, man. The only reason why is the other half.
Yeah, okay.
It's awesome that you showcase a sport like that, and then I think I get the gist of the 4 belt era thing of your book. I get the gist of it. I would like for you to explain it a little bit more.
So the main, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just showing people the book.
So the main thing is, I'm playing on the word, right? The era. Let's be honest, man. They can't be 4 Hector Bermudez. They can't really be 4 champions in the division, right? That's the way they design boxing now. And honestly, you got to have a belt to move forward, right? So we need the belts now. I don't know if boxing could ever go back to the way it used to be, right? Back not that long ago, 30 years ago, it was a big deal to be a number 1 contender, number 5 contender, right? But in the last 30 years, so many things have changed. Like, I don't think anybody under 30 has bought a used car, right? Because they call them pre-owned cars now, right? So now you can't say contender. You got to give a belt to their name. So cool, leave it that way. What I was having an issue was with when these guys, and I know quite a few people that vote for the Hall of Fame, and they'll look back at somebody in the past with the eyes of today, and they'll be like, well, how good could he have been if he didn't win a belt, right? But that's the argument. I say, Hector, you know a little bit about the NBA?
No.
You ever heard of a player named Bill Russell?
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, I think
Joel.
He's got a couple.
I know who Bill Russell.
Oh, something. So you think it's fair to say he's one of the top 10, top 12 players of all time?
Yeah, he won 10 championships, though. I mean, of course, yes.
So what if I were to tell you that he never scored a 3-pointer in his career? Would you still look at him the same way?
I mean, there was no 3-pointers back then.
But that's the whole purpose of that book. Is now people are going back and saying, so-and-so, how good was he? Never fought. I beat more champions. Yeah, but you can't compare it because 3-pointers didn't start till 1981. So pre-1981, you got to erase that stat. They were probably shooting from the arc, but it was only to score 2 points, right? So that's the main reason why I got in the book, because they got too many knuckleheads now in the Hall of Fame looking back at somebody like Kid Azteca and saying, well, he had 40 losses. Yeah, he fought 300 fights, right? Turned pro when he was 15. If there were 4 belts back then, plus throw in the interim, throw in the regular, throw in the super, I don't even know how many belts he ended up with. He ended up with like 9 belts in like 4 divisions. So that's the main reason why I did it. And it gave me an opportunity to shine some light on some people that may have been forgotten in the past. And I'm gonna go in Hector's studio not Hector. Right after you go into his studio, I'm gonna go in Joel's studio too, and we're gonna talk a little bit about how many more Puerto Ricans and Dominicans would have been champ if the 4 belts were around from day one. Yeah, what I did was I went back to the very first rankings, and I picked the top 4 guys and I gave them belts, and whoever they lost to became the champ, and whoever that guy lost to became the champ. So I'm using their actual records. I'm just putting a new bow and a new ribbon on those fights.
That's all.
And I want to read a quote because you mentioned that you don't like how they're comparing fighters of today to fighters in the past. There's a quote here from Floyd Mayweather, who in 2022 said, then they talk about Sugar Ray Robinson. Again, I beat more champions than Sugar Ray Robinson beat in his illustrious career. So it goes to the point of the book where it's like, okay, yeah, you did beat more champions, but there was more champions in your era. And if I'm not mistaken, Sugar Ray Robinson in your book ends up with like 100 title defenses or something like that, and then beating over
go to page 97.
97. I got you right now. All right, 97. Yes. So it's first country's world champion. Also, Luis Emilio Perez was the first Dominican world champion if the 4-belt era existed. Who is this guy, Luis Emilio Perez?
That's your first champ right there from your island. Under my new system, I played Mauricio and went back and gave everyone 4 belts, and Dominican probably would have had a champ way back in the 1930s. Go a few pages up. Yeah, go to the list of who would have beat the most champs.
Who would have beat the most champs?
Yeah.
Titles for Murderer's Row is where you want me to go?
Nah, it's right. It was like 2 or 3 pages in front of where you were just at.
No, it's all right. Most title defenses. Jose Napoles would have had 26.
Go up a little more. Turn a little more.
Wait, hold on. Champions beaten. You want me to name champions beaten?
Yeah. Now that's the list Floyd was talking about. But now look how it changed.
Ray Robinson beat 52 champions, according if the 4-belt era existed during his era. 52 champions. Damn.
That's some good knowledge, man. That's a good way of putting things. It's awesome.
Yeah.
No, and by the way, for the people watching this, man, this guy really put in a lot of work. He got graphs. He got his lists.
God, you're breaking my heart the way you're treating that book. Jesus.
Hey, my man. Yo, oye, este libro lo compré yo.
I'm a reader, so I take care of books.
Yeah. So it's a very good book, man. And there's a lot of guys who are not in the Hall of Fame who because they never became world champion. Yeah. Let's talk about Kid Azteca, who you brought up before. Kid Azteca never became world champion, but beat 5 Hall of Famers and is not in the Hall of Fame. Can you talk to me about how you can make an argument for why he should be in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, I mean, look, so Vladimir Klitschko and Vitaly Klitschko are in the Hall of Fame, right?
Yeah.
Did either one of them ever beat a Hall of Famer?
David Hayes not gonna go, right? Nah.
Well, I mean, he might get in, right? With who they put in now, he might get in, but at the moment, it's 0.
Yeah, at the moment it's 0. They don't have. Right? Yeah, neither.
So I don't have a huge issue with them being in, but now, let's talk baseball, right? Who you gonna put in? The guy who hit the most home runs in AAA, or the guy who was playing in the major leagues against the higher level fighters, right? So I think quality opposition gotta count. Fame, there's something to it. Like Kid Azteca. Check this out. The first biopic in any boxer was the biopic on Kid Azteca, right? So that alone is kind of like fame. But they considered him back in Mexico at that time so famous that no actor could possibly play him. So they had him play himself because it wouldn't have been believable.
Wow.
Right.
And also he's also the first Mexican to invent the left hook to the body, right?
Yeah. So when he fought some guy from Texas named Tommy White, he got hit in the stomach and he couldn't move. So he said, yo, I got to find out what happened and I got to keep doing that. So he perfected it. The Mexican left hook to the liver came right from Kid Azteca.
So not only is he a pioneer,
his real name was Juan Manuel Marquez.
Really?
What?
His real name was
not Marquez. Marquez, the guy that fought Pacquiao.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's Kid Azteca from Mexico, right? Is he the guy from
No, it says his real name was Luis Villanueva para.
Yeah, this guy's from the 1940s, Kid Azteca.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. Yeah, no.
Yeah,
but
so he
lived till 88. He died in 2002, so he lived a nice long life.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he got the most knockouts by any Mexican. So, I mean, why ain't he in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah,
I know why, because he never won a belt. That's how the people that are voting look back. You know, you hear them say, if he wasn't good enough to be champ, like Adrian Broner would not have won a belt back then. I don't think, right? I don't know. Maybe he would have. We don't know. But if we don't know who would beat who, right? We ain't gonna get into that argument. But if there were 4 belts and interims down there, yeah, you better believe Azteca would have grabbed a whole bunch of them.
Nah, 100%, 100%. Yo, Jose, you have any historical questions? Hector, you have any historical questions you want to ask Jose? This is definitely the guy to ask.
Well, I have a scenario that I would like to see if he could go back in his memory bank to see if something like this ever happened before. I have a kid. His name is Carlos Gonzalez at Gallo. I have a gym here. I'm actually in the gym. He walked in my door like 2.5 years ago. He started boxing. I started training him, and in 3 months, we played around and I just turned him pro. No amateur fights or nothing. And in 2.5 to 3 months of him fighting, we bought a fight in South Carolina. We got an opponent that also was a pro debut that I don't know if it was a pro debut, but he couldn't fight. It was just a fight that see who, and my guy won. And then if he fell in love with it, he trains like 3 times a day. And it's been 2.5 years, a little over than 2.5 years. And he is 15 or 16-0 as a pro now. He was ranked number 10 in the WBA because he was fighting a pretty good level opposition. And I want to know if there was anyone like that never did any amateur fights, and in 2 years or under 3 years time was able to get like in the top 10 or a title shot with no amateur experience or anything.
The only one I could think of in recent years is Dwight Muhammad Cowie, right? He had no amateur fights, but he was also locked up in Broadway prison sparring James Scott for 5 or 6 years, right? So you could almost say that was an amateur career, what he had in prison. It was more common back in the 50s and 40s. My man Tony Pallone did that. He had 1 amateur fight, and he never got to 16-0, but in about 1.5 years, he started fighting main events. I'll say it's very, very rare because, see, that's a natural fighter right there. That's a guy that you could say was born to fight, right? He got a feel for the ring. He knows where to put his feet. You probably didn't even have to teach him some things, right? And he was already coming right out the box.
It's kind of like a cheat code because he was a pretty high level baseball player, and he was awesome. He was going to get drafted to I think was the Phillies or something like that, and then he got in trouble with the law, so then they dropped his ass. But he still, him playing baseball his whole life, throwing, and that becomes the right hand now.
Yeah.
So
I like the baseball analysis too because styles make fights, right? So same thing with baseball. Like you could see one player, if you throw him nothing but fastballs, he's hitting home runs. You throw a changeup, and all of a sudden it looks like he never played baseball in his life, right? So the good thing about baseball players is they know that things could change, and you could bring that into boxing, right? So now if I'm fighting a lefty, I'm fighting a righty, it's a slightly different way I got to move. If I'm fighting a guy that's coming my way, I got to back up a little bit, create that distance or push him back or whatever. So I'm thinking he's got a real good eye, right? He probably could see. I know guys that made it as far as AAA, and they used to tell me when they pitched, no matter how fast that pitch was, they could see the stitching on the ball as it was coming to them, right? So that kid got a good eye because I believe he probably carried over something from baseball where he sees everything that guy's doing in front of him. He can see where that left
here with me. Let me bring him in and ask him. Come here, Los. This is pretty awesome for.
Yeah, so he could almost predict what the other guy's gonna do. Is what I'm guessing.
Mm-hmm.
By the way he moves.
So you said his name was Carlos Gonzalez?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, my man? Nice to meet you. Broadway Joel, voice of Dominican boxing.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. First of all, where you from? You know, what brought you into boxing?
Well, I'm from Springfield, Mass. I live here all my life, and what brought me into boxing was I got into a little trouble with the law, and I just wanted to change my life. So I kind of did this just to stay out of trouble, and probably like 2 or 3 days into it, I was like, oh, hell no, I want to try to fight. I want to try to do this. You know, and I just kept rolling with it.
How old are you currently?
Currently, I'm 28.
28. Okay, so you picking this up at you know, a little older age than most. How do you feel like you belong in terms of when you in the gym, when you sparring these other guys, or maybe Rohan, Thomas Bloomfeld, Kurt Scooby? I know the guys over there. When you sparring and you in there, you feel like you on their level. You feel like you feel like you still got some work to do to get there.
I'm gonna feel like I always got some work to do, no matter if I do my thing against anybody here or anybody else out there. I'm always feel like that, but I feel good. I do feel like I belong in this sport, and I belong in the spot of where I am, because people who've been doing this their whole life and they're considered the best, like one of the best, if not some of the best in the world. I'm doing my thing with them. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's boxing, so some days they do their thing, other days you do your thing. But at the end of the day, I feel like I'm good work. I'm good work for anybody. I'll be a tough fight for anybody, and I feel like I belong in this. You know, I don't know if I answered the question, but I definitely feel like I belong here, and I belong fighting with whoever people consider the best.
Like Jan Santana.
Yeah, we not. We'll get to Jan Santana in a bit. Are you currently signed with a promoter or manager? And what's your current record? You 2-0?
I'm 15-0.
Oh, 15-0. Excuse me. So you're 15-0.
He's ranked number 12 out of WBA.
Okay. Are you signed with any manager or promoter or anything like that?
An APA belt.
Yeah, I got a manager, Jonathan Ortiz. But he family to me, you know. Like I said, I'm new to this boxing, so I don't know nothing about nothing. And I told him that I'd appreciate somebody that I know and that I could be in good cahoots with to run my career. So okay. Yeah, I'm not signing no promoter or nothing.
Okay, how'd you stumble in with Hector Bermudez? Hector Bermudez, renowned as one of the best trainers in boxing. You know, you came to him with no boxing experience. It's kind of like, how did you luck up into one of the best trainers?
Yeah, well, when I started boxing, the guy that I first met, he knew of Hector, and we ended up coming to train at this gym, at Bermudez gym. So, and that was like about 2 or 3 weeks into me boxing. So that's how I met him, you know. He told homeboy, he told the other coach to put me to spar against his son. Because his son was like a professional and amateur and all that other stuff. So he put me to spar, and then he was like, hold on, how old are you? I told him my age, I told him a little bit about my background. He was like, why would I try to go amateur or anything like that? I told him I wanted to fight. And I said, man, I was going based off the other guy. But in a short period of time, I learned so much, not only about boxing, but about life with Bermudez. So I ended up I was a welder before, so I would come here before I would go train before I go to work. Then I come home and I still get my 2 sessions in. And one of those sessions was with Bermudez, which was the boxing session. And I was just learning and I just stood here, you know what I mean?
What so Hector brought up that you have a baseball background. What point did you get? How far did you get in your baseball career?
I tried out for the Phillies, and the Twins was there, and I think there was 3 other teams there, but I got invited to try out for the Phillies, and that tryout took place in New York. I was about 17, 18 years old, and I was playing with the Legion team around here, and I also took part of. I was on the USA team or USA trial run or something like that, but I was in North Carolina, and I forget what year it was, but I was there starting shortstop, second batter. Now I wasn't pretty nice. I was nice. I was really nice. And when I came back over here, something went wrong because I had full scholarships offers and I couldn't obtain them because something that went wrong with a financial aid mistake, and I needed to pay back like $7,000 to the school I was currently going to. And at that time, I didn't know where I was gonna get that 7,000 from, so I just started doing what got me in trouble and working. And once I got to a point where I could pay that off, I was just like, whatever. Okay. So that just went to shit. Excuse my language.
No, you good. Jose, you have any questions for Carlos?
Did you watch boxing before you started boxing?
Nah, not really. I mean, I would watch like somewhat of the big fights with the family when a Puerto Rican was involved, or any Hispanic, not just Puerto Rican. But other than that, nah, I ain't watch sports, period.
Not even baseball?
Nah, I just like to play it. I was an active guy.
All right, that's what's up. I'm definitely interested in your career. You never had an amateur fight. Go straight into pros, training with Hector Bermudez, sparring. I've been to that gym, so I know the sparring is good. I'm very interested, man. Listen, advice that I can give you is definitely listen to Hector. He's a very good trainer. Stay in shape, stay out of trouble, and stay away from Yan Santana, man. These are solid advice that I'm giving you, man. Like I'm trying to look out for you because Hector's my man. So you his man. So by proxy, you my guy, man. Just stay away from Yan Santana, man. And I think you can have a long, illustrious career.
If I'm not mistaken, I'm ranked higher than him in the WBA already. So no disrespect to him. I think he's all right and all that. But we really want like the Nick Balls and the Angelo Leos and those type of guys where it's easy work and I'll get something from it, rather than being easy work and I don't get nothing from it. You know what I'm saying? I'm supposed to be the guy like that.
Okay, all right. I'm definitely loving the energy, and I honestly want to see if that fight does come about. I definitely want to see it down the line. And you currently ranked in the WBA number 12. Number 12, I see. Okay, that's good. So whoever your manager is definitely putting you in position. There's only 11 guys ahead of you, and I'm looking at the names ahead of you. These aren't names I can't see you getting in front of with a couple fights. None of these guys are killers. You got Shushu there, who I believe is fighting for a belt. Is he fighting for a belt or something, or interim belt soon? So he should be out the way. So you could be moving up soon. I'm looking forward to your career. I appreciate you giving me your time, and definitely next time I'm in Springfield, I'll make sure to say hello.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right, my man.
Keep it up.
All right, do your thing. There we go, Hector. I appreciate you hooking me up. How high are you on the kid? What do you think of his potential?
Man, I'm like elite level high on that right hand. That he did
really
from a baby. He been pitching and throwing at the first base from shortstop, and that right hand is crazy. If Yan Santana get hit with that.
Yan Santana gonna be there July 26th, man. You better watch out talking like that. You better watch out.
Yeah,
that's on the Belanga fight. He's gonna fight on that card.
No.
Oh no. That's the last ESPN show, right? The 26th.
Yeah, Xander Zayas. Yeah. Where the Dominicans don't steal the show. You pulling up to that, man? You coming July 26th?
Yeah, man. I mean, I almost feel like the Tuesday after or the Tuesday before, we're gonna have a Ring 8 meeting.
Okay.
Right. And Mark Kriegel's gonna be there like the guest speaker, but I'm thinking you guys should swing by. If I don't know how long you're gonna be in New York though. Yeah, I come just for the weigh-in or the day before the weigh-in.
We go that Monday, so the fight is.
So you're gonna be there for a couple days.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
So the Ring 8 meeting that he's talking about is a meeting where the New York journalists all meet up here in Queens. And
it's everybody. It's all fighters, commissioners, referees. It's not just journalists.
Yeah. I think that'd be a good look for you, Hector, for you to pull up. And if you could get any fighters there, there's a lot of connections to be made there. So that's something to consider. And, I'm from New York, so if I need to move you around, I could definitely do that, as long as I'm off.
So, when is it?
It's either the Tuesday or the Thursday before that fight card. I'm not exactly sure. They haven't confirmed what day yet.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But everyone's there. You'll meet like Vito Antuofermo, Junior Jones. They all come out.
John Scully got something with that?
Who?
John Scully.
If he's in New York, he definitely come by. He'll be here this Saturday. He's doing an event on the cruise ship where they sail around the city.
There you go.
So he'll be here this. I don't know if he's going to come back for that other thing. We could always ask him. As long as he ain't training somebody, he does swing by though.
Yeah, he just left. I think he left here yesterday. He was here yesterday.
Yeah, he's going to City Island. City Island. Johnny Z's doing the boat ride. They're trying to raise money for fighters. Friends of the Champ.
Yeah, he's always John Scully is awesome. He's like if you ever see him in the street, people give him a $50 and be like, hey, give this Roberto Benitez.
Yeah, exactly. Benitez and Gerald McClellan.
Yeah, and he'll send money right to them, put you on the phone with their caretakers. He's awesome.
Yo, real quick, back to Carlos. Hector, how old school are you? How far back you go?
In boxing?
Yeah, even as a fan or whatever. Like when you start watching boxing?
My whole life I've been in boxing. It's been my.
How far back?
I don't know. I don't know how to answer that question. Since I don't remember not doing boxing in my life. I'm 49 years old. I don't remember not doing boxing.
Do you remember when there used to be an amateur style and a pro style?
Yeah, I remember when there wasn't headgear, then there was headgear. Now they're not headgear. Yeah.
So there used to be like an amateur style, and some trainers could only train amateur style. They never had successful pros.
Yeah, right? I'm the opposite. I don't really have too much success with amateurs.
Okay. So
that's why I turned this kid pro. I'm like, listen, I'm not going to no amateur fights.
Okay, so he's got Joel. Back in the day, there used to be trainers that taught the pro style. So the pro style, remember amateur style, every little tap counts like a punch, right? So they would teach the fighters like fight like that, right? And no pacing, just go out there and throw as many punches as possible as soon as possible. Every once in a while, you had a guy who needed to pick his shots, like Arguello or somebody. So those guys were called the pro style, right? Because you need 7 rounds, you need 9 rounds. That rat race, that sprint, they're like marathon guys rather than a sprint, right? So Carlos, I'm thinking, even if he was in the amateurs, it probably would have stunted him in some way. Like some guys, like Davey Armstrong, for example, Mark Breland, I think they spent too much time in the amateurs, right? And they probably had their best years in the amateurs. Then when they turned pro, they were on that other side of the mountain, right? So I think something like Carlos is that rare guy that don't need to have 50 amateur fights because he's probably real smart and he probably picks up his lessons real quick. I get the impression he don't make the same mistake twice. So it's easier to teach him. So someone like him, you can't have somebody walking off the street and start going pro. But he's one of that rare guy that like he could think outside the box, almost see himself fight. So, Yeah, that's like a 1 in a million kind of guy that you got right there.
No, and also he's at the age where he can't give up too much time in the amateurs. You understand what I'm saying? Like he's 28 years old.
Yeah, but even if you rushed him and he can't handle it, it ain't going nowhere. So he's got something special in him that's picking it up like this. So every fight, he's probably getting better every fight. Whereas some guys need to fight 5 or 6 different styles. This style, that style, fight a tall guy, little guy, a guy named Mike, a guy named John, right? They need all that experience to learn. This kid looks like he's a quick study and he's learning right away. He probably even learns in the gym.
Yeah, so I got a blank canvas working with him versus like someone like Carlos Gongora, which was a 2-time Olympian, got over 500 something amateur fights. I grabbed
Is he still active, by the way? Is Gongora still active?
Yeah, he is.
Pro Box was looking for him. They had a super middleweight. They were looking to see if Gongora would have took the fight.
I think Gongora did. I'm not training him no more. I think Gongora did.
All right.
He fought Lester Martinez.
Yeah, they wanted him for another fight after that. I know they were looking for him. Ruben, I think was his name.
Yeah,
the son, right? Exactly. Yeah.
So with him, he was a 2-time Olympian, over 500 something amateur fight. It was tough.
Okay.
It was tough to get him. Like I remember, I had Udi Cedeno here,
right,
and I had Carlos Gongora, and I was able to teach Udi a couple of things that was able to outposition Carlos, and I had Carlos for like over 2 years, and it was tough to like get Carlos to do certain things because he was stuck in that, quote unquote amateur style versus someone like Carlos Gonzalez and even Rohan Polanco. When Rohan Polanco, like his coach in DR was like, he's never going to be able to punch. He's only smacking. And now he's, I totally changed his style around and made him more of a come forward counter puncher. People think that he's just coming forward, but he's coming forward to counter punch. He's not being overly aggressive on offense.
That's why I mentioned Marlon Starling.
Yeah,
Starling was in your face, but he wasn't getting hit.
Exactly.
Yeah. I got a $5 super chat from my other boxing historian, the Nobody 92. Shout out for the $5. He says, Hector, how did you luck up on finding Yoneli Hernandez? Being that he's Cuban, did you have trouble breaking him out of the amateur style?
Well, even in life, when you're good at what you do, right, people come find you.
Okay. All right.
It's not like I don't look for anyone.
So you never reached out to inquire about training a fighter?
I think I cringe. I cringe when I hear like people like Ramsey from Canada there. Like he reach out, he DMs fighters and like come train with me, and that I cringe. I don't know why, but I can't do it. I can't.
That used to be a no-no. You don't contact someone's fighter. That's like, that's almost like tampering with a free agent.
I don't need no one working cuts for me. I don't need no one rapping my fighters. My trainer, my mentor, like, you should, if you're responsible for a fighter and this is what you do for a living, this is what you do, you should be able to
who's your mentor? Who's your mentor?
Tony Rodriguez, was a Puerto Rican guy that was raised in Hawaii. I don't know exactly the world champions he had, but he had 5 of them.
Okay.
Tony Rodriguez.
That's interesting.
So he, and that's why, I sometimes I had a cut man just to have one in there, but I could do my own cuts. I wrap my own guy's hands. I listen to him if he needed a psychologist. I train him. I do strength and condition. I do, it's one-stop shop.
Is that why you the most expensive trainer in boxing, man? Come on, man. You got Rohan complaining to me. I'm a defender. What's up with your prices, man? Your prices get too expensive. Yeah.
So I'm a sports. I went to school for exercise science. I'm a sports nutritionist, and he would laugh at me because I'm fat. So so you don't have to spend money on strength and conditioning. You don't got to spend money on food or a dietitian. I know how to cut weight. I know how to hydrate you. There's a lot that I do for the kid.
Okay. All right. That's
and why do he always pay me more than what he has to pay me?
I don't know. I've been hearing complaints. I had to bring it to your attention, man.
I'm expensive.
I had to bring it to your attention.
He always say that. He's expensive, but he always gives me more than what he has to give me.
Yeah, changing topics. I wanted both of you guys' opinion because this is a fight that I'm almost don't know how to feel about it. Crawford versus Canelo, two of the biggest names of boxing, but unfortunately they're in different weight classes. But they're fighting at 168. Canelo, we've seen him slowing down. Crawford didn't look too good in his last fight. He didn't look bad, but he didn't look good either. And now he's putting on more weight. I don't know who's gonna win this fight because Canelo's definitely on his way down, and so is Crawford. But Crawford seems to have a little bit more in the tank, but he's moving up in weight. How do you guys feel about this fight?
Can I go? Can I just answer this question?
Yeah, you go first. Yeah.
Well, first of all, there's boxing, there's purists, right, and then there's events. And Tyson was an event. Mayweather was an event, and this is an event. Like, where do you go from here? You're holding all the titles. The titles love the sanctioning fees. This fight is an event. I have my guy here that's a historian. I would prefer to ask him who do he think is the most underrated boxer in history, rather than get into Canelo and Crawford.
Okay.
I got an answer, but you asking him, so go ahead.
Most underrated fight in history?
Yeah, like who in your studies, what brought about the most underrated boxer in history?
Let's see if our brains are connected. I got somebody in mind.
I mean, how far back you want me to go?
Okay, good question. Let's go into no further than the 40s.
All right, that changes my pick.
No further. Oh, you was gonna go. Your pick was
further back. My pick was further back, based off reading the quarterback.
You're cheating. You got the book.
Hey man, I did my homework. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? Everybody, go buy that. Go buy that right now. Stop. Pause the video. Go to Amazon.com.
There you go. Give everyone a minute.
Buy the book. Come back. Press play. Go ahead.
There's so many. Like, it's hard to call a champion underrated, right? But I'm gonna throw one name out there because I believe he doesn't get the love and the respect that he should. I'm gonna go with Esteban de Jesus, the lightweight from Puerto Rico. Right?
Of course, you got to mention a Puerto Rican.
No, it's not that. It's
I felt that one. I felt that.
When you
fight I would. You. Of course, you do.
It's hard to be considered the best when you got a monster like Roberto Duran that you're going up against.
Yeah. Take
Roberto Duran out, and De Jesus would have been Roberto Duran. So I would go with him. There's so many names I could throw out there. Sonny Liston. If Ali wasn't around, Sonny Liston might have been champ up until George Foreman came. I'll give you another name, Rodrigo Valdez, the middleweight, who kept him from being the best, Carlos Monzon, right? So there's so many, though. I could go on forever, but those are the names that popped into my head first.
Yeah. I got one too. Carlos Del Cruz, beat a Hall of Famer, and Carlos Ortiz,
Yeah. His true. And he died though when he was young.
And then in his next fight went to LA and beat Mando Ramos in his hometown. So we gotta give him that.
Now I'll give you another one. You know a guy named Harold Weston Jr.? No. Remember him? He fought a draw against Benitez. it looked him and Tommy Hearns were going neck and neck right before Tommy beat Cuevas, but then he got a detached retina, so they had to stop that fight. There was I'm gonna give, because this is the voice of Dominican boxing, so I got to give one to Joel. Fausto Ceja Rodriguez, a welterweight. He beat Harold Weston. Got a little too much fame too soon. He lost to a Puerto Rican guy, Miguel Barreto, right? But he kept this guy.
This guy's the best.
This guy, he died in a car crash when he was 25, right? Now I'm gonna throw a bone on Bermudez. Hector, if he had a trainer like Hector, and he didn't get into that car accident, whatever Leonard Duran Benitez, it would have been Leonard Fausto Rodriguez. I'm gonna go there.
Wow, he was that good.
They called him the Dominican Tommy Hearns. This is where his nickname was his nickname after he died.
Yeah.
So,
I'm looking at his box rec. It looked like most of his early fights were in Puerto Rico. So he was
yeah.
So coming up, he was used to knocking out Puerto Ricans, which is good to see. It's good to see on his resume.
Well, most of the guys in the 60s and 70s from DR had a fight in PR. That's just where the action was. DR wasn't they had a couple of gyms, but they didn't have the infrastructure. Puerto Rico 1970s might have been their golden era. I mean, you had Gomez, you had Benitez, you had De Jesus, you had Carlos De Leon, Ozzy Ocasio. You had guys that today would have been champs, like Victor Millon Ortiz, José Marquez, Edwin Vidahuet, Adolfo Vidahuet. Right? The 1970s Puerto Rico is like you couldn't walk down the street without bumping into a top 10 contender from Puerto Rico. That's how deep that was.
No, and one thing
even
we gotta give, one thing we gotta give credit to Puerto Rico is, man, that's a little tiny island, and their rival is this big, huge country in Mexico. Yeah. And if we look at the numbers, Puerto Rico has more wins in championship fights against Mexicans than Mexicans have with Puerto Rican. So Puerto Rico, like historically, I'm not talking about right now that they under DR and shit like that. I'm not talking about current. I'm talking about historically. Historically, put that American sanctioned company down.
Nah. That's British, man. Boxing Rec is British.
No, but in all seriousness, per capita, like they're definitely the best. If we talk about per capita, I don't think there's an argument. Yeah. Puerto Rico has produced some
maybe Cuba, right? Maybe Wales, right? We don't,
No, I was gonna say Cuba has had success, but it just seems like their fighters don't really have too long of reigns. I know we got Jose Napoles. But other than that, really, I can't think of a long reigning.
Yeah, but remember when Castro took over, there was no more professional boxing in Cuba for like 50 years. So we don't, if they didn't escape like Erislandy Lara and Rigondo, right? We would never have heard of them.
Yeah. But even the guys who do escape, like Rigondeaux and Lara
because for them, the freedom getting out of the island that was it. That's the jackpot for them. Boxing was just the cherry on top.
All right. I got the Nobody 92 who sends a $5 super chat. Salute to you, Nobody. He says, Jose, how did you meet and how was it working with the film director Joseph Medina? His movies did so much for me as a kid.
How's he know I knew Joe Medina? How do you know that?
Listen, this is my personal researcher. This is my guy right here. He pays me to do my research. So
so they used to have I forgot what it was called. They used to have like little orange, yellow, the learning center or the learning annex, something like that, right? And you pay like $20 or something, and you would meet people. They would have them all over the city. And I happened to go to one because I was interested in doing a film. I always had ideas with writing and with films and all that. So Joseph Medina was the guest speaker, at one of them, right? And he was working on a film at that time called Nueva York, YOL, right? And famous Dominican comedian named Balbuena.
Yes, I do.
So he was hold on.
You all right?
Yeah, I just had I didn't want to I had to take someone off mic. We sat down, and after the class I just started talking to him, and he invited me to his studio. He had a studio on 8th Avenue and 40th Street in the film center. And he didn't pay, right? But it was like free learning experience. So I went with him. I did the hospital scene. If you watch that movie, it was the hospital scene and the airport scene, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was just there, whatever, holding the wires and stuff like that. I went with him to shoot videos. We did Rick Arenas video, No Puedo Olvidarla. We shot that at the Flamingo Club or Le Palais, one of those clubs. I don't remember which one. I did Safra Negra with Frito Vargas, Candela. We did reggae videos for General Degree. So that's how I met him, because he was doing guest speaking, and we kind of clicked after the class. I told him I had a project, which we never could do it, right? We were never able to finish it. Now I haven't seen him in like 15 years, though, man. He's a great guy.
Yo, so wait a minute. So you never released anything with this guy, and this guy knew that you worked with him?
Release something with who? What do you mean?
With Joseph Medina. You never had a film come out? How did he know that you worked with Medina?
I don't know. I don't know who this is. Maybe that is Joseph Medina. Maybe that is Joseph Medina.
No, I know who that is. That's my man, Larry. But
Joe, I mean, the thing is, Joe liked my ideas, but liking ideas and raising $150,000 to do them is such a different world, you know.
Okay.
So that was the only problem. Plus, he had his priorities, and then he did a movie with El General. It was called Grandpapa, right? And he did a movie. That one I didn't work on, but I was working on the script with him for In Search of a Dream, which was about a baseball player, Dominican baseball player, with Lauren Velez.
By the way, Hector, I don't know if you know, Jose Corpus actually was a pro fighter. What was your record, Jose?
Like 12-3, something like that.
Yeah, so
14-3 maybe.
Yeah, we talking to somebody who not only knows it from a book standpoint, somebody who went in there.
Amateur fight too.
Yeah, like about 9. I didn't mess around with the amateurs too long. Yeah. And it's $80. Huh?
New York?
Yeah, for a few fights, but then the Garden, they were renovating it like in 90, 91. So it was Bob Goodman. He was putting on shows like in the outer areas, but they were only paying $80 a round. So I just joined the service at that point, because $80 a round was kind of, I mean, you know, $320. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? $320 for a 4 round every 3 months.
He had you had a similar situation like Carlos Gonzalez. You started it late, you know, had a pro career.
I was like 17. I was like 17, but the opportunities weren't coming everyone, you know. I did it wrong. I should have stayed in the amateurs longer, but sometimes you get hooked up. It's just fate. You get hooked up with people that steer you the wrong way, and then you kind of, next thing you know, they kind of convince you that a 6-round fight means more than a Golden Glove chain, right? That's what happens sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, I got the Nobody 92 who sends a $5 super chat. Salute to you, my brother. Again, he says, Jose, please connect Joel and Joseph Medina. I would love that interview. He made so many great Dominican movies. He also shot a video for Aventura.
I mentioned him to you, but you said you didn't want to branch too far out of the boxing realm.
Yeah, that was before I've been before I started, you know, branching out, interviewing cops and stuff like that, and police.
I got his email. I mean, he used to do Scorpion Films. He's probably real easy to find.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I'm not too familiar with who he is, to be honest with you. I would have to do research, but that's fine. I love that. That's my world. That's my.
He's a good guy.
Like that. My strong suit is research.
He was doing something nobody was doing back then. I mean, he put out 3 films. movie theaters. Now, unfortunately, he didn't have great distribution, right? So they would probably play like in 5 movie theaters in Washington Heights and 5 in Miami for about a month, and that was it, right? And if you had a bad opening night, they might not even have your second showing. That's what happens when you don't have distribution.
Speaking of films, don't you got a film out now called Tough Tony about Tony Pallone's career?
Oh yeah, that was a documentary. We did that with Bobby Cassidy. That one won first place on the Greenwich Village Film Festival.
Really?
That's on YouTube. Yeah, that won the first place.
Okay, that's a pretty accomplished film festival. So.
Yeah, it's great. I'm at that point where if it ain't putting dollars in my pocket, keep the ribbons, keep the trophies. Hopefully.
Let's go.
I have an interesting question because I'm wondering. Well, before I say that, you probably want to say something to Nobody 92. Probably ran out of money. He just did another question, and it's not a super chat, so he probably ran out of money. Do him a favor.
No, it's all good. I'll ask it. He definitely deserves it. He says, by the way, I think you mentioned working with Joseph Medina in one of the lives with Broadway one time. That's how I knew.
Right. Maybe. Okay, that makes sense.
All right.
So the lesser known fighters. How do you approach to like doing your research on them?
What do you mean?
Like the lesser known fight, like we know let's say the Joe Louis but people that is like underground is layers above like what the casual would know.
One of the best ways to learn is to talk to people who know what they're talking about, right? Right. And you always can learn something from somebody, right? And if you're in the gym, sometimes the most interesting person is not just the trainers, not the fighters. It might be the guy that opens and locks up at night, right? He might have a million stories, right? So listen to everyone. You can learn from everyone. I learned that from Jimmy Breslin, who was a writer from the Daily News. And I forgot whose funeral it was. It was a closed funeral to the public. Nobody had access to anything. And his assignment was tell us what happened during the funeral. So, who he spoke to was the guy that was digging the grave, right? And he got all the info from that. So the stories are out there. There's an old Native American saying, they say your voice is vibrations, right? And it never goes away. Sound never disappears, right? But if you're listening in the right place, you're going to hear it, right? So you just got to go to the right place. And then you got to dig the old newspapers, the old interviews, and you got to speak to people, man. You got to speak to people. And luckily, there was so many writers from the past that you could hear about some of the other fighters, right? Nowadays, if it weren't for YouTube and guys like Broadway Joel, if you just relied on Ring Magazine and 1 or 2 websites, I don't even know if we would have heard of Carlos Gonzalez. Right now, we just put some light on Carlos Gonzalez, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can find it. You just got to dig and listen to a lot of people.
Yeah, it's right? Funny. To add on to that, it's funny, Hector. That's how he found me. He was writing a story for PBC about Puerto and Hector fighting for a world championship on the same day, 2 Dominicans. And throughout his research, he came across a video where I interviewed both Puerto and Hector about fighting the same day and all that. And he wrote an article, quoted my video, put a link. The quote was linked to my video, so if you clicked it, it would take you to the video if you wanted to see the visual of what he was writing about. And then he reached out, we started connecting, and that's how we developed a relationship. So it's funny because I myself look at myself as a historian, but not like Jose. Jose is on another level. I understand that. I'm saying like I'm documenting history currently. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. Where in 10 years, right? You want to know about this era of Dominican boxing, you already have an encyclopedia that I've already written, except, my art is different. My art is visual. My art is with my words and like you Hector, you were saying how you went to school for it. I got a bachelor's degree in journalism. So like a lot of times these other YouTubers think we do the same thing, and I'm like, bro, you a content creator. I'm a journalist. And people like to say how I'm biased, which it's better to announce your bias because everybody has a bias. You know what I'm saying? I'm announcing my bias, but I'm also not with the bullshit. I'll call a fighter out. I'm not gonna mention his name, but you guys in the chat probably already know. I've had multiple fighters that I haven't interviewed in years. Some have come back, some haven't, because of what I've said on with the mic, criticizing them, and they Dominican. So I try to always, and when I interview a fighter who's gonna fight a Dominican, like I interviewed Brian Mendoza after he knocked out Jason Rosario, Lamont Roach when he was about to fight Hector Luis Garcia, Subriel now he's about to fight Puerto. I always give them a fair interview. I'm not badgering. You guys know who I'm rooting for, but that's okay. You know, just because I'm rooting for somebody doesn't mean I can't be a fair, you know, neutral, objective journalist in this moment. You know, I could root for whoever I want. The same way Stephen A. Smith roots for the Knicks, but still rips them apart when they do something he don't like. I feel like that's who I am with Dominican boxing. Yeah, I'm gonna support them, and that's who I'm root for, and I'm gonna sell the shirts and the jerseys and all that. But if they do something I don't like, I'm gonna criticize it. You know.
And another question. You just made me think of something, Joel. But which era of boxing fascinates you the most?
That's a great question.
Yeah. Probably the one that's getting spoken about the least. Right? See, like right now, for example, like everyone's talking Crawford Canelo, right? What can I add to that story? Maybe a little bit, whatever. I'd rather talk about something that nobody's talking about, right? Which era is the most fascinating? The 70s were real cool. The 1920s is when, you know, we really took it to this level. Like before the 1920s, they were boxing in like somebody's barn, right, in the farm and stuff like that, right, with their ass cheeks hanging out, and they were fighting with like straps on. It was like a very different game, but I think I like the 70s because everyone was fighting each other, right? The competition was off the hook, right?
What about the 80s? You had Tyson. You know, you had Duran, you had Leonard, you had Hagler, Hearns,
if you went to the gyms in the 80s, you got there at the right time, you could still like have a conversation with Gil Clancy. You could have a conversation with Freddie Brown, right? You could speak to Ray Arcel, right? So I happened to catch it at a time when, you know, I had no problem speaking to the old guys, and I knew enough names that I could hold a conversation, right, from like my father's old magazines and the little bit of reading that I did. So I could go up to a guy like John Mondello, who was like 80 years old in 1988, right? And I could say, John, tell me about the 1930s. He's like, what do you want to know about that for? I was like, how good was Jimmy McClarnon? And then he would sit down and he would tell you. So, you ever heard that saying, when an old man dies, a library burns to the ground, right? So I happen to catch enough guys that lived in the 30s, the 40s, and the 50s. So a lot of that, I just found it so interesting to keep learning, right? And not just with boxing, with most things, like salsa too. I love listening to the old guys talk about how salsa was in the 60s and 70s. And by the way,
No, I said I love salsa. So yeah.
So when they first started calling it salsa, it was like 73 or 72, right? The Cheetah Club. But from the late 60s, they were probably still calling it mambo at the time, right? Or Latin dance, right? You know who one of the top promoters in salsa music was in the late 60s in New York?
Johnny Pacheco?
No, Carlos Ortiz, the boxer.
Really?
Yeah, he had a gym called, or not a gym, he had a nightclub called El Tropicoro in the Bronx. And he used to put on, his shows were so dope that they would have dinner, dance, and then breakfast, all included for like $5. And it would be, you got to see some of the flyers. It'd be like La Lupe, Richie Ray, Eddie Palmieri, Tito Puente, Richie Ray, all these guys, right? So he was putting on the greatest shows. Unfortunately, spending more than he was making, right? So the club only lasted like 4 or 5 years.
I got interesting history about salsa too. So salsa originated from mambo, which came out of Cuba. But what a lot of people don't know is that mambo in Cuba was made by a Dominican woman who emigrated to Cuba, and
what,
that
you talking about son? You talking about son?
I don't remember her name, but she's
no, the music that they call son. S-O-N.
I believe so. So she brought it to Cuba, brought that there. That it became popular in Cuba. They named it as like a kind of like a song, a music that came out of that country. That came to New York. The New Yorkers took it to a whole nother level. And then it wasn't until Johnny Pacheco took the best from Cuba, the best from Dominican Republic, the best from Puerto Rico, and made La Fania All-Stars. And Johnny Pacheco is Dominican, by the way. And he was the guy who named it salsa. Named it salsa. So the name salsa was made.
Was he the guy that gave it the name salsa?
Huh?
Was he the guy that gave it the name salsa?
He was getting interviewed, and then the journalist was asking him to kind of describe the music, and like, what is this new music?
And he was describing like different ingredients.
So he was like, there's a little bit of Cuban, there's a little bit of African, there's a little bit of Puerto Rican, a little bit of Dominican, a little bit of European, and you just kind of mix it and just kind of like a big salsa.
They had a lot of jazz in it too. A lot of those jazz musicians were playing with
exactly. So he just described it as a salsa, like a mix, and the name stuck. And that's a feather in our cap.
See, so that's a story I would like to explore right there.
There you go. Maybe that's
never heard you. I never heard. I don't know if there's enough for a book, but I never heard that it was a Dominican lady that created Cuban son and mambo, right? So that's something I'd like to look into a little more.
Yeah. I'll send you that information once I.
Now that's I'm gonna contact Joseph Medina about and be like, yo, Joe, let's do a documentary on her now. Let's find.
Hey man, this is recorded. I need PC on that. I need a point or two on that.
Man, we need you to invest before you even start collecting from the back end.
Nah, that's a good point. Anybody got questions?
I got more questions. I mean, you guys keep derailing to salsa and this Dominican thing. I keep bringing it back to boxing.
Bro. Got
like what fighter have interested you more, like in history? Like, did you fall in love with a particular?
I didn't fall in love with no one. I find Joe Louis very, very admirable, right? I would say one guy who kind of fascinates me, like Firpo's a fascinating guy, right? We spoke about him in the beginning. Gene Tunney, right? Right? Forget what he did in the ring. He started the Navy SEALs.
No.
What?
Yeah, so he was a commander in the Navy, and they were originally called Tunney Fish, right? So now they morphed into something a lot more advanced, but he was the first commander. He was the first Navy SEAL. Also, he was an editor for DC Comics. And when they made Superman and they wanted a model, like who is Superman going to look like, it's Gene Tunney. So Gene Tunney is Superman. So I find him fascinating, right? So a lot of guys that are fascinated, but I'm two, among the first ones that come to my mind. Benitez too, 17 years old, fighting champions. I mean, that's
a record that'll never be broken.
You see a 17-year-old now in the street. I don't, he's like stuck on his phone. I don't know. It's like like that lifestyle, that dedication, that discipline. Like, I don't see too many 17-year-olds doing it. So he's another guy that is like super fascinating.
Do you have some type of system to make like, what's a all-time great fighter? What would it be like? What would make him an all-time great?
So I would say the opponents is very important. right? Anybody could beat up their little sister or their little brother, right? But when you fight in world class and performing on that level, I think that's where you show your true colors. And then your skill set, like in baseball, there's like a 5-tool player, right? Someone that could field, someone that could hit, someone that could run, someone that could throw, right? So the more tools a guy got, like that's you got to, unfortunately, you can't compare the talent. Some errors are deeper than others, right? So you can't penalize them too much for that. So then you go with their skill set. So I would say competition, skill set, and that's like the main two, I would say.
There you go. Yeah. All right. Well, I want to ask Hector, because me and Jose have had conversations both on air and off air about Mike Tyson's legacy. I'm very big into Mike Tyson. I think his resume gets unfairly shitted on, but people don't take into account the guy was 20 years old, knocking out grown men, was a lineal champion by winning, by knocking the Michael Spinks out in one round. What's your thoughts? What was your thoughts back then with Mike Tyson fucking wrecking shit? And what are your thoughts now about him historically, where he lands?
Well, I think I'm a little biased with Mike because I kind of grew up in Albany, New York, which is like 20 minutes away from Catskills. And we used to always go to Catskills, the Custom Models gym, and train there. And the person that used to own the gym that I became a trainer at, because I started training fighters when I was like around 15. Was Bob Miller. Rest in peace to him. He died a few years ago. Bob Miller and his wife was Lorraine Miller. They was local promoters, and they got, I think, Tyson's first like 17 fights. So Tyson was in the gym. I grew up with him, and I remember driving his limo. So I'm a little biased when it comes to.
So you know him personally then?
Yeah.
So if Mike was to see you, he would know Hector. He would be like, "Oh, Hector, what's up?"
I don't know, but I could. If he doesn't, I could just say a couple names, a couple things. Him being in the gym when I was in the gym, and yeah,
that's what's up. I know Hector's gonna get mad, but the Nobody 92 sends a $5 super chat.
He got money again.
He says, Jose, what did you think about merengue house groups in the early 90s like Fulanito, Proyecto Uno, and Sandy y Papo?
I loved it, man. Magic Juan and all of them. I loved it. I loved everything they were doing. I wish that era was still out, man. Fulanito. What a name, man, for a song. El hombre más famoso del mundo, Fulanito. Everyone knows Fulanito. Those guys were geniuses. The way they hybrided that music. It was unbelievable. And I had kind of experimented with a little bit, but we were going more with Southside rap. But yeah, what they did, man, was just unbelievable. And from that, you could say like reggaeton and all that started coming from that, right? That meshing of music, that fusion, that started all with them. So
okay.
I mean, it started a little bit with Southside, the way you were describing, right? The way they meshed it and everything. But these guys were doing it not just with music; they were doing it with lyrics, right? They put the trumpets with the drums and the piano, right? But these guys are doing it with lyrics, music that you see guys try to experiment with. It doesn't always work, man. But they made that look and feel natural.
Cool.
No, more recent times, like what was that guy's name? Omega El Fuerte.
Omega El Fuerte.
Yes, he's got a little. That started with Proyecto Uno, I would say. That's got to be his inspiration, whether he knows it or not.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Circling back to boxing before Hector has a heart attack over here. So I want you to tell me just how good Henry Armstrong was, because Henry Armstrong at one point was champion in 3 different divisions at the same time when there was only 8. So basically, almost half of the divisions in boxing, he was world champion, and he was champion at 126, moved up to welterweight, became champion there, then moved down to lightweight and became champion there. To me, he has a very strong argument for being one of, if not the greatest boxers of all time. But I almost feel like he kind of gets pushed down by guys like Ali and Sugar Ray Robinson and Sugar Ray Leonard. I feel like he's always like talked like he's not in that class. Can you tell me how good he was? Jose, you froze up on me?
Oh, I thought you said Hector.
No. I was telling you. I was asking you.
Nah, he definitely was, man. He had like a 3-year run where like he was like 60-1, and I think the one loss was a disqualification, right? This guy's fighting 4 times in a month, defending his belt 4 times in a month, in different cities. Yeah, think about that, man. The only guy that had those 2 years like him was probably Harry Greb, right? So he's definitely in the mix for one of the best ever. That's Customato's favorite fighter. That's the guy who Customato says is the greatest of all time. And Cus has seen a lot of fighters. So,
yeah, my thing is you hold 3 different belts, 3 lineal belts in 3 different divisions at the same time when there's only 8.
No,
you have 3 out of the 8.
Yeah,
that's insane.
I know.
That'd be like somebody beating Nick Ball at 126, then moving up to welterweight, beating let's say Boots, and then moving down to lightweight and beating Tank. Like if somebody did that, you'd be like, that guy's the greatest.
More like beating Crawford because Boots is kind of fresh, kind of new. He beat Barney Ross, who was already like legendary status. So
there you go.
Yeah,
so moving up to welterweight, beating Crawford, then moving down to 35 and beating whoever you think is the best. Tank.
Yeah. Just because he didn't feel like he had nothing else to do that weekend, so he fought for the lightweight title, bro.
Shit crazy. Shit crazy. Yeah. Oh, what part?
You put him under Sugar Ray Leonard though on your list today.
I did put him under Sugar Ray Leonard because no, you don't think so?
I mean, Leonard could probably beat him if they fought, but I mean, Leonard had 38 fights. This guy had 150 fights. It's hard to do in 38 what this guy's doing in 150.
Man, but when you got wins over Thomas Hearns, Roberto Duran, Wilfred Benitez, and Marvin Hagler off a 2-3 year layoff, and like it's almost hard for me not to be like, yo, this dude is one of the best. Yeah, he may not have had a long career, but fuck, bro, you beating all-time legit greats. Like,
I'll probably still say he's the best fighter I've ever seen, Sugar Ray Leonard, in my lifetime.
Hector, who's the best fighter you ever seen with your eyes?
That's a good question. Well, like live or like in history?
In your era. No. In your time.
Since you were born, like when you saw live on TV or live in person. Live on TV, live in person, either one is fine. You seen Leonard, you seen Tyson, you seen Mayweather, Pacquiao.
Oh, did you said Leonard? You said Leonard?
Yeah.
I actually I remember being a kid and with my mouth open watching Leonard beat Hagler. And everybody, all my uncles and cousins, I don't know why, they was all rooting for Hagler. And I was like quiet because I didn't want to give my opinion. But I thought at that time, Leonard beat him. And everybody was like, it's a robbery. And I remember just staying quiet, like, I'm not going to say nothing. I was a kid. And I was like, but I thought Leonard beat him.
Yeah. It was definitely a close fight. I feel like the fight could have gone either way. But, a lot of times when the guy you want to
win, it reflect. I mean, one judge was bugging, but the scorecard reflect that it was really close.
Yeah. I got here that Nobody 92 who sends a $5 super chat. He says, Hector, how do you see the future fight with Yoneli against Adames? And even though they're both Cuban, would Yoneli accept a fight against Lara?
Yeah.
Yoneli kills Adames.
No, he's talking about at boxing. I just want to ask you. He's asking how would Yoneli do with Adames at boxing? I don't know what sport you thought he was talking about.
Yeah, Yoneli. So the thing with Yoneli is they have to get him now. They got it. They better get him now because the kid is amazing. He is an awesome talent, and he's just getting better. And he's getting better. He's doing it now. Like, this is what makes fighters great, when they just make it up on the spot. Like you ain't gonna teach no one. No trainer is ever gonna teach someone how to fight Muhammad Ali. Everybody has a foundation, and then you start to learn the fighter's personality, and then you train him according to his personality. Yoeli makes it up as he goes along. He's like a Roy Jones. He does a lot of things wrong, but his reflexes, his length, his strength, his eyes, they all like help him with his positioning. And he would really, really beat Adames. Even though I really like Adames. Adames' talent. Man, like, if someone told me right now that if someone came here right now, like, hey, Rohan Polanco is doing this and doing this wrong, I know what Rohan does. Like, I always say, winners look at what they do wrong, losers look at what they do right. And I only see what Rohan does wrong. But if someone comes here and says he's doing this wrong and it takes me by like surprise, like, oh no, Rohan, come here. No, you got to work with this guy. There's no ego, I'm not like egotistical where I'm like so like blinded with like, nah, he only talks to me, he only works with me. I would love Joan Guzman to come here and work with Polanco. That'll be awesome.
I can make that happen.
Yeah, I know you could, Joel. We know that you're best friends with him. Jesus.
Hey, just in case, hey man, I gotta throw it out there, man.
But I believe that you have to get Yoeli's now, and if you don't, and you wait another year, sheesh, man, he won't fight Laura because Laura is like he's an idol, so he's number one for the WBA belt, and he's not interested in fighting Laura.
Man, that's so disappointing, man. That's so disappointing because, why you going up that sanction about it if you're not going to fight the champion?
Oh, he would. Oh, wait, no, I ain't say that. He said he's not really interested. Like, he won't be the one calling him out and all this. And, he has respect. But if his managers is Robert Valle, which is a good manager, he has to, he got to do his job. But Feliciano Yoeli, he's not gonna be like, hey, Laura, fight me.
I got you. All right. Well,
he'll definitely get in that ring.
Speaking of underrated fighters, like from current days, Lara would probably be one of them.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
because he should have a win over Paul Williams. He had a really close fight with Canelo. He definitely had a good career, and at one point he was somewhat being avoided. A couple fighters were avoiding him for sure.
It's like Pernell Whitaker, right? Pernell Whitaker should have lost his first fight against Ramirez, and then De La Hoya was definitely
the Chavez fight. Yeah,
the only one that really beat him, which
was Trinidad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think De La Hoya beat him. Yeah, I don't think De La Hoya beat him.
Yeah, the only time really beat him, and he was already, I think he's already into decline. It was Trinidad.
Yo, Hector, have you ever felt energy for a fight with anybody like they used to be for a Tyson fight?
Trinidad.
Oh, Trinidad. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, Trinidad and New York.
Yeah, William Joppy.
Oh, William Joppy. Oh, man.
That shit was off the hook.
That was
off the hook.
That was wild. For sure.
That was off the hook. But to me, like the buzz on the streets in the laundromats, the bodegas, I don't think it was anything like for a Tyson fight.
No, definitely wasn't. No, all kinds of, I just like when I was little, I just remember like what stuck out to me is the pimps that used to go to his fights. Like it always stuck out to me, like the pimps and the coming into the MGM, they having their girls around them. It was just it was fun.
Yeah, no, me and Jose were having a conversation off camera one time, and we were talking about what boxers reached the highest peak in fame. We narrowed it down to 4. Jack Dempsey, Joe Louis, Muhammad Ali, and Mike Tyson. Those three reached the highest of high in boxing in terms of popularity. In terms of taking it to the next level, I think that's like the max.
Did you mention Jack Johnson? Or did you
yeah,
say
I did. I was telling him Jack Johnson. Yeah, I would put Jack Johnson tied with Tyson in a way. Definitely.
But my counter argument was they ain't no Jack Johnson in Nigeria. They knew Mike Tyson in Nigeria. You know what I'm saying?
And I said we don't know. I'd have to look at
the
whole.
Remember he left. He had to leave, and he couldn't come back. And remember, like he was world champion when it was lynching people.
Yeah, exactly. Jack Johnson, don't sleep on it.
Yeah,
did they know him in Japan? Did they know him in Japan? Did they know him in China?
I mean, he was the world champion, so anybody in professional boxing had to know him. You know, he was the world champion.
I don't think he was as big. I'm not dismissing his European and American impact. I'm definitely not.
So can we see like his gait, like when he fought who did he fight when he came back and he had to shield himself because
Jess Willard.
Jess Willard. I mean that gait.
That fight was in Cuba.
Yeah, it was. You know, you could kind of like range it from there. How many people came to see him? Could come to see him fight, and also Lewis when Lewis went through that whole thing with Schmeling.
Yeah,
at the height of the war and everything was going on at that time.
Joe Louis played a big role in segregating the army, ending the segregation in the army.
The gate for Jess Willard versus Jack Johnson in 1915 was $73,000, approximately 25,000 spectators.
Yeah, but that was in Cuba too. Remember though, that he was exiled from the U.S. Right? If they would have fought in the U.S., that would have been 5 times the crowd.
But it was that fight and then the other fight that he had in the States that was like they had to like kept building. They had to build an arena.
That was the first fight. That was the first fight they called Fight of the Century when he fought James Jeffries.
Yeah,
they had a whole row of guys that they called the Great White Hope. Hoping to beat Jack Johnson. So.
Okay, so current that with inflation, that's about $2.3 million. That gate. Tyson had $30 million gates.
No, you can't get the money. Come on, Joel.
You can't.
I included inflation though. Hold on.
That's Cuba money also.
I got the Nobody 92 who sends a $5 super chat. He says, I couldn't believe how easily he beat Kyron Davis. I'm only worried Yoneli is going to be put in the boogeyman category and not get the fights.
Maybe.
Yeah, he would. Just like Rohan would, just like every fighter that I always work with, kind of, I never get that fighter that's on the A side and fucking taking care of Canelo and, just I always got to be on the B side winning the belt.
Kyron was kind of a boogeyman.
Yeah,
right,
he was.
in a way. And so this guy just totally like out boogied the boogeyman.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you because you worked with Yuri Cedeno, and I'm not gonna ask you who you think of winning that fight because I know obviously you're gonna pick your guy, but I'm more asking you: did you watch?
Obvious. That was not obvious. Don't say it's obvious.
You're gonna obviously say, "Oh yeah, of course, Eldie's gonna knock my guy out."
No, I would use my professional mind and say that Yoel would beat him. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, what I wanted to ask you, what did you think about his performance? I'll be honest with you, I got a lot of negative reviews off his last performance. I'm not sure you got a chance to watch that fight, and he's somebody who you've trained before, seen in the gym multiple times. What do you think of his progression or regression, and what do you make of his last performance as well?
I think the kid is an awesome kid. He is. He's a really, really good kid. Fun to be around with. Him and his brother are like really good energy. As far as boxing, I was a little taken back. I thought that so there's fundamental. There's like when I get a fighter There's a kid named Ronnie Alvarez that I work with here and there. He's also Cuban. So I gave this analogy today to his trainer. There's another kid named Pedro Vietti. Pedro has a lot of talent, right? He has a lot of talent, but fundamentally, you have to take him back to restructure the foundation, just like how you would structure the foundation of a house. And then you build up from there to get him to be in a position where he's in a position where is sufficiently as possible to go out of it for offense, to come back to it for defense, to go through defense here, to come back through it through offense. So what's the best fundamentally sound position that this guy could be in? So then you take someone that doesn't have that foundation. You got to build it up. This kid Ronnie Alvarez is the first fighter that I got to work with that he's fundamentally sound, and then I could teach professional boxing to him. So Rohan wasn't like that. Rohan was like, you have to be the way Rohan was to have any success in the Olympics. It's only 3 rounds. So back to your question, man, when I saw him, he's fundamentally more flawed than what I remember him to be, but remember him to be how he was and calculating how he should be now. It's the disappointing part. Like, whoa, what the fuck? What am I seeing? How he's not having an active high guard versus a stationary high guard? He knows better than that. How is this guy keep exiting? He should know better than that. By this, how many years he been pro? He should know better than that. You know, it's just like I was left with. I used to train.
Disappointed.
Yeah, I trained this kid, Abraham Nova, and Nova was an awesome talent. The Ribisi fight came to me. I said no, because we're not ready to be on it. I know like if it was sparring, probably Nova would beat him up, but to be on the stage, his first big fight on the stage, where to fight somebody like him, plus we were number 4 in the world. And Ribisi wasn't even ranked. I'm like, why are we giving him Olympian Cuban opportunity? Like, no, let's get the belt first, and then and something happened where we got into discussion. I remember Rohan telling me that, hey, Abraham told me that you don't believe in him, and I'm like, I do believe in him, but I believe that he can't beat Ribisi right now. Right? And then something happened where we broke up. He went his way. And he grabbed a Ribisi fight on his own, and then Ribisi knocks him out, and that was heartbreaking. Because one, like when I say we're ready to fight, if we're gonna fight if Ribisi's on the scope, then we train for that style, and we'll get a fight, similar to that style, and then we'll fight Ribisi then. And I think the body structure, the talent, he has to beat Ribisi, but if you go in there blinded, thinking that you could just win because Ribisi's smaller than you, no, it doesn't work like that. I know I got off the question, but I was a bit disappointed with the fundamental flaws, the inactive high guard, the inability to cut the ring off, and the one-dimensional only like one-dimensional tempo is. That was just
I definitely I remember you. It's funny because I put the clip out where you were making fun of me. The adjustments I think he should be making. But I definitely agree with the just stationary high guard was costing him. He would get hit, and it just kind of seems like he's okay with getting hit because he knows he's gonna get his off, and that's okay when you're fighting Abel Mina. But when you're fighting Yoneli Hernandez, when you're fighting Carlos Adames, when you're fighting Janet back,
we're not training like when I train these guys, I always tell them we're not training for this guy. We're training for our unification bout, for our 6th title defense. That's what you're training for. You're not just training for this this opponent that you're supposed to be. So you train your best because each one is what will elevate you for the next. And then when it's all complete, like Rohan, I'm ready to fight Rohan with anybody.
Because you train.
He's complete. We'll get on the inside and we'll fight. We'll get mid-range and we'll fight. He'll fight on the outside. He'll fight on the back foot. He's able to do all that. His defense is good, So that's what all these fights. You don't just like, let me just bullshit. Let me just do this. No. I would have. Me as a trainer, I would have definitely been upset in the court.
I got a few super chats, so bear with me. I got the Nobody 92 who sends a $5 super chat. Salute to you. He says, Hector, you said you wouldn't mind seeing Joanne work with Rohan. Why are some trainers iffy about having other coaches work with their fighters?
Yeah, well, one is ego, insecurity. I don't believe in like when fighters leave their coaches for other coaches. I haven't had a lot of fighters leave me, but I'm like, if Rohan left me tomorrow, there will be a part of me that will be satisfied for him to leave. Like, okay, you can leave. And that part is the fact that I care so much for him that it scares me, that I need him to be successful, right? I need him to be successful because I know his mother, I know his son, I know his grandmother, and I know everyone is counting on him, and I know how hard he's working. And I take on, I'm like a codependent. I take on his feelings, right? I take on his aspirations. And if he was to leave me and I don't have to deal with that, I'd be like, whoo, let somebody else deal with that. I'm on to the next. I'm on to Carlos Gonzalez now. You know what I mean? Because when I take on a project, I put my all into it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm different in a way where, and then if Joanne could add something to him, no, you kidding me? Why, you know what I mean? I don't understand how, I'm not insecure like that, or I don't have an ego like that. It's not about me. And he has a point, because I've never done this before, Joy. I never was like on somebody's podcast. If you like look me up, I was always, I had world champions. I worked with world champions, and I never was like in the media. But there's a switch that I saw that I've been seeing with fathers and their fighters, and they've been getting a lot of recognition. Like Brian Norman's dad is awesome at this. Bill Haney, Devin Haney's father, is probably the best at this. Angel Garcia was also good. Angel Garcia single-handedly won Danny Garcia fight for him when he fought Amir Khan. He had Amir Khan raging with anger.
I remember that.
I was at the press conference, and he's the Angel Garcia was like, your mother and your father's cousins. And he had him, and he was even going as far, look at your trainer over there shaking. And he just like, everybody was mad at him. And I remember Amir Khan saying, I never wanted to knock nobody out the way I'm going to knock him out. I'm going to knock him out. He went for the knockout and got clipped.
Yeah, it's funny. He was going as far as making, borderline racist comments. He said I think he asked Jim Lampley, name me one Pakistani fighter that's good. Like, is this guy serious? And then also he mentioned, he was like, when we beat him, we're gonna send him home in a flying carpeta. I was like, yo, this guy was going crazy.
So my point is that these guys is standing up for their fighter, their sons, with emotion, because they got emotional attachment, and their son is the best. Their son is the best, and that pushed them forward a little bit. So then I started like, hold on, I'm gonna get on podcast. I'm gonna talk about Rohan Polanco. I need people to know him, and I would pull my sword of knowledge out. Like, well, let's battle with wits. If my guy's ready.
I wanted to ask Jose because you mentioned possibly having Joanne help you in any kind of way. Back in the days, is having multiple coaches was a thing, because in football and baseball you have a hitting coach, you have a batting coach. In football you got a defensive back coach, a defensive coach, a head coach. In every sport you have multiple coaches. Boxing seems to be the one sport where it's like, no, you got one trainer, that's it. How was it back then? Was it also just one trainer, or did guys have multiple people in a camp?
So for the most part, it was one guy, but back then there was like 20 times the amount of fighters now, and they were all fighting every month. So they had like in the 1950s and 40s, like a fighter like my man Tony Pallone, right? He would have Ray Arcel, and when Ray Arcel was busy, they had absolutely no problem with Johnny Sulo or somebody filling in, Whitey Bimstein, right? So they benefited from it, and the fighters got to learn a little bit here, a little bit there, but the trainers were on board with what was happening. There was nobody behind the back, and hey, listen, I'm gonna try this with your guy, right? But it was always your guy. I'm just filling in for you, right? I want to say somewhere around New York, anyway, in the 80s, it was disgusting. They wouldn't even. They were acting like jealous boyfriends or something. Like if you spoke to another trainer, you couldn't even ask them, like, where's the bathroom, right, or something like that, because they would be from the other side of the gym. Yo, what are you talking to my fighter about for?
Yeah.
I don't know where that happened, right? I don't know where that started. I know Gleason's was like that. Times Square, kind of, right? I guess there was a lot of people whispering sweet nothings in fighters' ears, and fighters are gonna go with whoever's the one that's telling them they look the most beautiful. So I think something like that happened. But you didn't hear that much happening in the 40s and 50s. They kind of, helped each other out. But there always was the main trainer, though.
Okay, what was the trainer, Goodman? What was that was with around with the Archel brothers? The good. His last name was Goodman.
With who? Who did he train?
Maybe Rocky Marciano.
No, Goldman.
Charlie
Goldman.
Goldman, yeah. So I recall Charlie Goldman reading on him and him sending the brother. What's the Roberto Duran trainer or Arch?
Ray Arcel, Freddie Brown.
Ray Arcel sending Ray Arcel to help him because he couldn't go, and they used to do that.
Yeah, that happened all the time.
Yeah,
that happened all the time. Yeah,
actually, I got Rohan Polanco fighting July 26th. Right, that's the date.
Yeah,
and then that's a Saturday, and then Friday I got the kid, the Cuban kid that his father was a gold medalist. He fighting for a title eliminator, in Friday. So okay. I'm sending some people down with him, make sure he's okay to cut weight.
Yeah, right.
And then so I'm gonna take I'll make sure Rohan is on weight, leave him, take a quick flight Friday to Florida, do his fight, and come back Saturday morning to do Rohan's fight.
Man, you all in, like all in, man. And this fight is not even on TV, right?
The title eliminator?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's crazy. I got another super chat from the Nobody 92 who sends $2. Salute to you, brother. He says, what are your thoughts on the Combat League? These are these 1-round fights that these fighters are now doing, representing certain cities. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I mean, I think it's awesome. I think it's just another revenue for them. I know a lot of fighters that are making good money there for 1 round. Actually, the kid I spoke about, Abraham Nova's on there. Rashidi Ellis is on there. Those are good fighters, and they're doing great. Like, there's another kid named Jai Brown. He's doing awesome. He's like undefeated, and before then it was hard for them to get fights to make money, and now they're making anywhere between 2,500, 3,000, and up to like 5,000 for a 1-round fight every week.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Jose? This is something new. I know you come from a historical background, but what's your thoughts on these 1-round fights?
I think it's a little different, but my friend, I think you know him, Hector. You know the manager, Zach Levin. He used to manage Otto. He had Cassius Chaney for a little while.
Oh yeah.
So he's got
Otto Wallen.
Yeah. He had Otto for a minute. Otto went with Jolene now, but he had it before that. It's like Hector said. I mean, I think it's kind of interesting. I used to watch wrestling a little bit, so I kind of like the tag team kind of element, right? Mm-hmm. So I think I don't know that it's going to translate to like a Canelo fight or something like that. But in the meantime, it's a good way for these guys to make money. And it's kind of, I don't know. It looks like it's grown in popularity. So I don't have a real problem with it.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's pretty interesting because it's 1 round, they go all out. You see a lot of people get knocked out.
When we were kids, when we were kids, we used to play baseball like that. Remember CBO? You would shout out CBO, change your batting order, so you could have your cleanup hitter bat like 10 times. And we used to make up all rules on the fly. So I kind of like the creativity. And Zach's got a Russian. I think he's a cruiserweight or heavyweight. He's about to join the New York team. And let me tell you something. As a manager of an unknown fighter, right? You got to pay your fighter. You got to pay the opponent. You got to pay your fighter's physical. You got to pay the opponent's physical. Sometimes you got to pay room and board for the fighter. And every opponent, I don't care if his record is 1-18, they got an entourage, right? There's 4 or 6 guys you got to cover, right? So instead of him putting out 8,000, 12,000 just to get his guy a 1 win, that's a nice side gig to venture off into that. Your guy gets paid and you don't have to do anything. So I think it's important to have something like that in there.
Listen, I from a financials perspective, I agree with you guys. That is a nice little revenue if you can make an easy 2,500 to 5,000 for fighting 1-rounders. My one concern is there was a couple instances where one person died, another person just randomly just caught a seizure in the middle of a fight, and I'm not so sure, what's going on there. This is a new kind of concept, so I'm not sure how dangerous or how safe this is, but it is something to look at as of right now. Those are 2 incidents.
I think it should be safer than a normal boxing fight. There was only 1 round.
Yeah, but since you're doing it so often, and since it's 1 round, you're fighting at a higher pace. You're taking a little bit more risk than you would, So
the kid that had it was an electrolyte problem. His name was Tremaine Williams, and he's really fine. So I spoke to the doctor because the same doctor that seen him is the same doctor that works with Polanco, and he said if you're not in the medical field and you're not a doctor, you might see that it might look way worse to somebody than it really is. To us it wasn't really nothing.
Okay, all right. I got another super chat from the Nobody 92. He sends $5. He says, Hector, I feel it's the trainer's fault. Some trainers don't teach their fighters the right fundamentals. I believe this is when we were talking about Eddie Cedeno. I believe that's what he's referencing. He sends another $5 super chat. He says, Jose, I know this is random, but I'm a big Edwin Rosario fan. Can you break down the impact that Edwin Rosario had back in the day?
Who's going first? The first one wasn't the question.
The question was for you.
So remember, Edwin was managed by Jimmy Jacobs and Bill Caton, right? Mm-hmm. So everything that you seen Mike Tyson do was basically Edwin Rosario was the blueprint, right? Mm-hmm. And Edwin, yeah.
Good, he was good.
Yeah.
And see him fight, he was like,
he was a little knocky. He was a little knocky. Right?
Yeah,
He
yeah.
was a little knocky, so he looked a little funny in the ring. But so Edwin, he could back it up because he could hit like crazy, right? The guy hit like a middleweight, right? So he was knocking everybody out. And back when he still had the afro, he looked like another Wilfredo Gomez, right, for a long time, right? I think the one thing that killed Edwin, other than drugs, was when he fought Ramirez in the rematch and turned his back. And if you see the rematch in '84, he dropped Ramirez twice, and then Ramirez got him, and Edwin turned his back. So that kind of we knew what his ceiling was.
Really turned his back. He was kind of he was really hurt, and Ramirez kind of like hit him, went underneath like his armpit.
Yeah.
He was just like stuck, like because I always hear a lot of people say, "Oh, he turned his back, like he quit." Man, he was hurt. He was hurt. He was dazed.
But that we knew what his ceiling was, right? So he never quite like broke into the mainstream, right? But then he had a comeback, right? He had that close fight with Camacho, which a lot of people thought he won. And then the night he beat Brambo, he was probably on that night. If you were to freeze that night, he was probably one of the 10 best lightweights ever on that night.
So for that night, when you see that night, like I never, even when I trained fighters, I would never teach them, because it's like a no-no in boxing to teach somebody to do a right hook. If you're right-handed, to teach somebody to throw a right hook, it was always like, no, you don't do that. You don't do that.
Yeah.
So then, I started studying film, and I seen the way Edwin Rosario knocked out Livingstone Brambo. Was like, and he came right around the guard.
Brambo held his gloves like this.
Yeah.
Boom.
I was like, I know I could teach Joel. Stop, Joel.
Yeah.
Joel.
So Edwin, it looked for a minute like he was about to come back, but then he lost to Chavez. But I think that loss to Ramirez kept him. If he would have beat Ramirez that night, I think he would have been like every bit as popular as Trinidad or something. But no, for a while though, man, he was. I mean, he didn't duck anybody for whoever. Yeah, he fell to that. He fell to that drug though, man. That drug changes you. There's no beating that drug. Eventually, it's gonna catch up to you.
Yeah. That's unfortunate.
Yeah. And that's hard to beat. But I think that Ramirez loss kind of was like, okay, maybe he ain't another Wilfredo Gomez. I think that kept him down.
Yeah.
All right. Yo, fellas, we've been at this almost 3 hours, believe it or not. It feels like an hour, but
yep. Oh shit, yeah, 2:57.
Yeah. I mean, I almost feel like we got to finish out the 3 minutes. I was about to end it, but now you just mentioned that. I'm like,
just one more round.
Yeah, exactly. One more round. All right, let's see what question I could come up with. Unless the nobody sends another.
Shout out to the Nobody 92 representing with all those super chats.
Yeah, man, he's definitely one of my strongest supporters. Always very knowledgeable, asking good questions, and very well knowledgeable.
Everyone was very popular. Everyone was about as popular, like Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia used to pull in the crowd in New York, whether you liked them or not. Barclays was 8,000, 12,000. Rosario was pulling in 4,000 or 5,000 against. You guys remember a guy named Flash Gordon that used to do those updates, right? So Flash was a little crazy, but he would sell programs out at the Madison Square Garden, right? But he would write he was brutally honest. So he would write if you were fighting a guy that had no chance to beat you, he would be like Rohan Polanco versus some piece of shit, right? That's how he would write it in his program, right? So Edwin against guys that had no chance to beat him was still bringing in the crowds, right? So he was definitely well known and very popular.
But I know nowadays you don't get the opportunity if you don't sell tickets. How was it back in the 40s and 50s? Was it the same way, or could you get the right opportunity?
The promoter was involved with tickets. There's none of this nonsense. give some 16-year-old, 18-year-old kid, okay, 300 tickets. You got to sell 300 tickets. That I don't know when that came out. Maybe 70s, right? But back in the old days, Tex Rickard, Mike Jacobs, no, they promoted you. They put you on the card, and your job was to fight. Hector's job was to train. They took care of the promotion. Now you got to be social media. You got to have your trainer 3 hours up on YouTube, putting your name out there. You got to have you got to sell tickets. They're asking so much now from a fighter, right? And if you don't got a manager backing you up, then you got to how much it takes? Hector, 50, 60,000 to get a guy up to 10 rounds when you're paying off his opponents easily, right?
Well, we have a good example of Carlos Gonzalez. Carlos Gonzalez is a huge ticket seller here in Springfield.
Okay.
So he will be able to pull in like, a title, here, especially if the champion thinks he's vulnerable where he don't have no amateur experience. He was able to pull in someone in because he's such a huge ticket seller. Man, to get him to be because at one time he was number 10 in the world. Now he dropped to number 12 because we're trying to push him to Nick Ball. And I had Queensberry biting for a second, and then they chose somebody else. Okay. But we might be next. We're there. We're there. And it's an interesting fight between him and Nick Ball. So, man, I would say that right now, everything put into him, it's about, and he got like 14, 15 fights, close to 200,000.
Wow, look at that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I also want to touch base on that as far as the ticket selling. I feel like a lot of promoters now, they're stuck in a way they used to promote in the 90s, and also I don't want to say, I'm not going to say specific names, but some of them are just plain out lazy. They'll tell you Dominicans don't sell. I'll be like, all right, what are you doing to change that? I'm not going to mention, because you know what? I'm not going to mention names because y'all know how I get.
So can I say something? So we have someone like Samson Lukowicz that he actually turned down Rohan Polanco, and I had a couple fighters with him. He's awesome, kind of a historian. He's very good at his job with scouting fighters. He always said that Dominicans don't sell. But, at the time, right now he's considered an opponent, a promoter, but he doesn't have, like, how are you considered a promoter if you don't have a platform? I don't know what platform he has to be like, well.
Yeah, Pro Box now.
No. Pro Box, you can't take that away from Pro Box is Pro Box.
No, but he has a deal with Pro Box as a network. Like they put on his fighters. That's why he had Luis Nunez fight on.
What Hector's saying is Samson ain't doing what Eddie Hearn is doing. He ain't doing what.
No. Samson is an agent. He's not. Right. He's not a promoter. He is. So my man, if you're a promoter and I'm a promoter and I have my fighter, and we're gonna do a show together, we got to promote this show together, right? And now we put my fighter on, but Pro Box is Pro Box, and I'm just bringing my fighter onto your platform. I'm an agent. I'm not being a promoter for the show.
No, I listen, and you brought the name up. I wasn't gonna do it, but I've always
listen. And then when PBC is PBC is, there's a lot of when Al Heyman came into town, all the promoters became agents.
Yeah.
Like he don't even call himself Al Heyman don't call himself a manager. He's an advisor. Right? Because so he won't, no one could sue him. No one. He's sitting back and he moving the pieces. Probably one of the smartest boxing minds there is. He moving the pieces along. And then he got, hey, Tom Brown, put this show together. I got this fighter here. These are my fighters. Hey, whatever, put this show together. And when you have Benavidez on, they're gonna mention Samson's name, like, the ring announcer, but he don't really have nothing to do with the show, but bringing his fighter.
Yeah.
So then you become an agent, not a promoter.
Yeah,
Lou DiBella became an agent after him being a promoter. He became an agent.
Do you think what Al Heyman did with PBC and kind of breaking up the smaller promoters, you think that kind of was bad for boxing?
No, I think listen. I have fighters with P. I had a lot of fighters with them, like 6 fighters with them. Everyone did well.
Okay, all right. I got a couple super chats. I was gonna end it, but I can't. These are people's money. The Nobody 92, he sends a $5 super chat. He says, Hector, I hear Joel bring up his name a lot. Can you break down how good Thomas Blumenfeld is?
Thomas Blumenfeld IQ is like through the roof. I have a new Dominican kid here, and he just watched he kind of we'll talk about him later on, but he's a little older. He's 28 years old, and he has a pretty good boxing mind. He's not just a kid that he's pretty sharp. And he took a look around, and he see who's the best in the gym is. He's like, he's that little white boy right there, because the way he boxes, the way he set up his punches, his patience, like he'll move around the ring and feint you and do what I call elements. Elements is everything. Like you're feinting, you're pulling, you're slipping, you're dipping, you're controlling the air, you're controlling the glove, everything to do with boxing, or you're moving left, you're moving right, everything to do with boxing that's not punching. Right? Everything you do, like the things he does before he actually go into offense, how he set everything up. It's just like it's poetry, man. It's really nice to see. Like people watch him, and it's like he's not a huge puncher, he's not super fast, but he's like in your face. He's a Pernell Whitaker at times. He's awesome to watch.
All right. Apparently, these guys don't sleep. They keep sending super chats. Now I have stock chases. Salute to you who sends a $2 super chat. He says, Hector, what's Rohan's best attribute and his ceiling? And he also adds on that. Hold on 1 second. I'll read his Frio since he sent a $2 super chat right here. He said, that's dead. My favorite fighter, bro. He's a dog. So what is Rohan's ceiling and what is his best attribute?
Man, his ceiling is high, man. Because what you see in the gym and what we work on and stuff like that is like, it's not even the percentage of what you actually see him in the fight. Rohan, and man, I'm not. If Rohan was some shit, I'll tell you. If he had, I would not put myself out there to represent him the way I do if he's not the guy. What I'm saying? He, in the sense that not just boxing, but just his personality, how hard he works. He works extremely hard to be able. Like he never talked. We talked about that, and it's a psychological thing. How shy he is, and it was a moment in time where I spoke to him. I'm like, you don't think you're the best in the world? You don't think you could be the best in the world? And he's like, in the world? And I remember like someone would say, I'm the best trainer in the world. I'm like, what the fuck? How would someone say they're the best trainer in the world? Like, emphatically not true. How can that even happen? Right? Because you might not know nothing about boxing, and you could click with this guy, and he could listen to you more. It's just so many variables for someone to have the audacity to call themselves the best trainer. Anyhow, so I try to instill that in him, and he didn't think. I say that because it reminded me of the conversation I had with him. I was like, listen, if you don't think you'd be the best in the world, what are we doing here? And we're training in every step of the way. I'm like, yo, I need you in the ring.
You all right?
Yeah, that logged out. So I said, I need you in the ring, and I need you to say, no, I'm the best. I need, when you're sparring, tell this motherfucker you the best. I don't give a fuck how fucked up your English is. Say it in English. Right? There was a time where he was getting tired. and he was getting tired. And I had a conversation with her. I was like, you ever been with talking to a girl that you like? You could talk to her forever. Similar, like we're on here for 3 hours and it seems like an hour, right? Because we're having fun. So when you're in the boxing ring and you're having fun, you're not thinking about your conditioning because it's mental. You're thinking like, oh, I have to do 6 more rounds. I need you to start talking, verbalizing, go through it. I'm going to hit you with the jab. You can't hit me, right? So every step of the way, he started to become more confident. And that's how I played on his confidence. I was like, my man, you the fucking best in the world, man. You the best in the world. And I start proving to him like you don't get hit at all. You know what I'm saying? So we're going with that. We're pushing that forward. That's going to be the main thing for you. I need you to talk. And now the motherfucker in the fight saying, come on, man, come on. Let's fight. Now he's like zoned in. Like he needed, like when I hear him talking, oh, he in the zone. He's flowing.
Yeah, these guys don't want me to go to sleep because they're pissing me off. I got 3 super chats. I've never been so upset that I'm making money. It says Juan de lo Mio sends a $5 super chat. He says, you think boxing will ever get to a space where the best fighters will rise to the top instead of these fighters that the networks build up who get protected?
I think it's gonna be hard because they're gonna try to get their money back first. So that they're gonna always be at the front of the line.
Yeah, I mean, I do think what Turkey Al-Sheikh is doing is kind of interesting.
A little bit.
Yeah, because like the fight with Beterbiev and Bivol was not going to make no money nowhere in America, and he just figured out a way to develop it and give it to the fans through his pocket taking an L. So he's someone who I think could make it interesting, but that's just one way.
I don't know how long he's going to be able to go with that because I'm hearing through the grapevine that them numbers are starting to come down now. Is what I'm hearing. That Turkey money.
I've heard the same thing.
Some guys are getting paid late. Also, is what I'm hearing too. So I don't know how. I don't know that we can rely on that Turkey model for too long.
Yeah, I agree. The Nobody 92 who sends a $5 super chat. Salute to you, the Nobody. He says, Hector, you said Rohan. You said if Rohan would leave today, you would be fine with the progress he had made. How did you feel when Javier Fortuna left?
I felt when I felt a little hurt because of it wasn't his doing. It was people in the background trying to get him in a better position, and I was all for it. When I spoke to him, I said, "Yeah, try this new route out." It's like chasing little money where the bigger money's at the end of the tunnel. And I don't chase the money. And even Rohan would tell you when Rohan's minimum, there was times where there wasn't met because we needed to fight. I wanted to fight, and I was bothering his manager to get him another fight, and his manager had to come out of pocket, and I was like, just get him to fight. I'll talk to Rohan. He'll take less money. Just get him to fight, and then he'll fight, and then he'll have to fight right again. And I'm like, yo, get him to fight. We got enough. And it's like so much money coming out of the manager's pocket because he wasn't signed at that. And man, I love Gary for the fact that it came to a point where we had to put him on the zone, and it cost him so much money. He was stressing out, and I was like, listen, we got the horse. We have the horse. This kid is it, man. I'm like, we could do this. And he's like, you sure? and he did it. And when he did it, he was fought on the zone. And once he fought on the zone, now you had Matchroom seeing him, you had De La Hoya seeing him, and you had Top Rank seeing him. And that's when it was like, boom, we're in the position where all of them want him. Now, but then now he don't have to pay no more. So he's,
That's good. Well, hey, worthy investment. All right, this is the last super chat, and then we're gonna end this, guys. I gotta wake up at 6 a.m. This Juan de lo Mio sends a $2 super chat. Salute to you, Juan. He says, you think make, learn, English part of Rohan. All right, he says,
"Hey, you should learn English."
I thought I was reading it wrong. I'm like, oh, no. All right, he says, I guess he's saying you should make English, make Rohan learning English part of his routine. I'm trying to decipher. I'm trying to work with what I got, bro. I'm trying to work with what I got.
My man, he's
$199 back.
So what he's saying is that you should make English.
Yeah, that's exactly what he said.
Practicing English part of Rohan's routine.
So Rohan knows. Like, so today, so Rohan still had the hand issue that we had to get cleared up. So today I took him to the doctor. The hand, we took an X-ray to make sure everything's okay, and tell the commission that we good to fight. And I went in there with him, and he had to go in the back, and he's looking at me like, "Come on!" I was like, "Nah, you know English,
Okay.
you all right?" Like if he got somebody with him, then he's gonna want to translate it, but he'll defend himself if he's alone and have to do it.
Okay, all right. Well, fellas, especially the Nobody 92 stock chasers Juan De Lo Mio, who sent some super chats. Nobody 92, bro, I'm gonna send you a jersey for free. Don't worry about it. This is on the house. I appreciate you.
He bought it.
I mean, yeah, you technically paid it in fives, so salute to you, bro. You definitely getting a jersey. It's on camera. I can't not send you a jersey now. Or did I send you one already? I don't know. Let me know.
He's backtracking out.
No. I don't know if I sent them. If I haven't, then I'll send him a hoodie. I'll send him something. He's getting something for free from me.
Well, I'm gonna reach out. I'm gonna reach out to Joseph Medina for him.
Okay,
and see when he's available. If he's still in Midtown, he's walking distance from your studio, so he may be down to do it.
Yeah. So yeah, I would love that. And you guys, Hector and Jose, I'm gonna send both of y'all each other's phone numbers just so I feel like that's a relationship you guys should have.
I appreciate it, man. I look forward to I get it on Friday. I look forward to
thanks.
And,
okay, yes, I'm glad you brought it up. Everybody here, man. Yo, Jose Corpus behind the scenes has helped me so much, man. The 4-belt era, man. If you're a boxing fan,
matter of fact, let me know. Nobody 92, just for being such a good supporter of the show, he's gonna get a free copy too, along with that T-shirt.
There you go, brother. Nobody. Okay. See, you love us, we love you. Thank you for the support.
I know you want to go. I know you want to go, but hold on. So how does it work when I order one from Amazon? Do you send it to me, or do they have copies? How does that work?
Amazon will send it to you.
Mm-hmm. So they don't get it from you. They already have it.
They have it. Yeah, I got a couple of copies here, but that'll come straight from
them. I would have liked the signed copy.
I'm gonna swing by the gym. I'm gonna see when Joe goes up there. Maybe I'll take him up there. Yeah. Or when you come, you're gonna be here at the end of July anyway. So if I don't get up there by then, yeah, we gotta hook up then.
Jose, you going to the fight? You going to the Rohan fight?
That's the 26th.
26th of July.
Yeah, that's the last ESPN show. Yeah, we're fixing to go. A couple of us.
Okay, good. Section 205 where the Dominican is gonna be at in case.
Did they start? The tickets went on sale already?
Yeah, I could send you a link so when you buy the ticket, Rohan gets credit for having sold that ticket. So
okay,
yeah,
okay.
But fellas, 4-belt era, man. Support Jose Corpus. I am not getting a dime out of this. This is a great book. He deserves the support. If you support me, if you love what I do. Just know this man right here, Jose Corpus, has had a lot to do with this channel, has a lot to do with Broadway Joel's success, and support him. And Hector Bermudez, even though we don't like him because he overcharges the Dominicans and he want to pull out some fake box rec stats, follow him too. But yo, you two guys, man, I appreciate you guys being on with me for literally over 3 hours. This was very fun, and hopefully we can do this again, man.
Yeah, likewise, man. Good chat with you guys. Hector, we'll see you soon.
All right,
man. Fellas, I'm gonna go to sleep. I gotta wake up early.
All right,
man. Peace.
All right.